Oh yeah, and then throw the link out, and Jay can.
Yeah, I'm working on that right now.
Okay. All right. Let me
Let
me mute this.
Yeah, I got YouTube muted. Yeah.
All right. Got it muted. All right. We are live, gentlemen. How's everybody doing tonight?
Hey, okay.
Everybody doing well? So tonight we have our usual guest, Scott, Dumpster Diving Dad, Clay of Clay's Closet. And tonight I'm pleased that Jason came on. Jason's a member of the Green Room University. It is a paid site. I don't know if Kevin might flip out a little bit. Oh, wait, Jay needs the link. That's what you said. All right.
Yeah, that's what I'm working on right now. I got it.
Remember, he doesn't have a webcam, so he's just going to do audio.
And I don't know. I guess it's about a week ago. It's a really good. Not platform. What am I looking for? It's a really good site, Facebook page, and a lot of good information dropped there. And Jason dropped a really good post that I found really motivating. And then we started messaging from that. And Jason currently doesn't have a YouTube channel. He says people keep telling him he needs one, and I agree. Basically, based on the posts that he's dropping, he seems really knowledgeable. So I thought it'd be good to have him come on tonight and kind of share his reselling story. And I think I want to start with that. I'm gonna go ahead and share that.
This is in your private group?
Yeah, it's in the group. So I know technically I probably shouldn't do it, but it's just this one post. And by the way, if you want, here we go. Here's a plug for the Green Room. It is a paid group. I think it's like $179. I could be wrong per year, but there's a lot of good information that's put out there. A lot of knowledgeable resellers, including Jason. So this is what he wrote on April 13th. And I guess I'll just read part of it. He said, self-motivated in an unmotivating time, because this was kind of, if you go back a few days, to say that times are rough right now, statement, no one could have predicted be put into the cycle. I think the wash is only about halfway done, to be honest. So what does one do when the chips are down? And by the way, during the day, I'm an English teacher. So I love the extended metaphor day. I generally see two things happening. Some people rally and curl up into a ball. Both are reasonable responses, but because, hey, we're all humans, and curling up is so good sometimes, which is oxymoron, all considering the reasons you probably curled in the first place. But I digress. You can stand a curled up ball of self-loathing, worry, and pain, blow up some balloons, and have a pillow party, or you can say, hey, screw this. I'm not going down that easy without a fight, because I'm a reseller. I'm an entrepreneur, and I was made to take on risk. Man, I feel like we got to cue up some Rocky music, man. It's good. I go against the curve of the general working society and create something from nothing and make it happen. So how does one do that? For some, it's the fear of not food on the table. For others, that if I can't figure it out, I'll have to go back to that job again. We've talked about that. And deal with that commute again and those people again, locked into those hours, and fall in line. But you don't have to, you don't want to. You fight. You can choose to find what motivated you in the first place. And when you started your little reseller adventure, and you can choose now to get off the damn mat and quit your pouting. I like that. Yes, we have all been affected in one or 100 ways what's going on right now, but that doesn't mean the game is over, or your dreams are over, or your joy is over, or being an entrepreneur is over. It just means you have to fight a little bit harder for a little bit longer and dig down, just get it done. I find often that many people fight their hardest when the chips are down, just as I do, because we refuse to go back down that dark rabbit hole, and we attack like rabid dogs. Attack anything and everything and just throw it all against the wall and see what sticks, I say. For myself, I make short-term goals and I go hard, and I hate to miss those goals. Maybe you can make some goals too, and if you miss, you probably will come out pretty good most of the time. So for transparency, I decided a month ago that when my wife was to leave Canada with no set return time to be with her daughter during the crisis, that I would attack my death pile that has been building for over 2 years. Some stuff as old as 4 years, and set goals to self-motivate me because, hey, who loves working on their death piles? Crickets. What a perfect time to settle in and attack the 1,000 to 2,000 units of merchandise we have consisting of damaged returns, new open box returns, restricted items, bulk buys from chains we had bought out as an end buyer, horrible and unlucky buys we had bought that take quicker than a Jameson Felipe Louisville being sold at every single store in America in 2017. Sorry, I butchered that. With 50 plus in stock, at all of them, as well as personal items we no longer wanted or needed. What do we do? What do we want was more short-term cash flow. We had put a good amount down on the house. What we wanted was more space to have, since we will be doing major construction upgrades this year, turning it into a rental property. What we did want was to pay off any existing debt we may have, because we plan to buy another investment property, most likely by the end of the year. And most importantly, we wanted to bring in as much as possible to pay what is 54,000 tax bill this year. Yikes. Not from the normal income from our two businesses, but just from the extra grind of attacking this death pile for a few months and then refinancing our home in the fall with an expected savings of $200 plus a month, creating even more cash flow for our long-term wealth and retirement goals. And here's where it gets to a goal. My stated goal is 30,000 in combined sales, me and my wife account, in a rolling 90-day period over the next couple of months. Understand that I barely do any eBay on my account, and hers is mostly just a bunch of replenishables that we have. She has fairly steady months around 4K in sales on eBay, so I have some work to do just to get up to 30K in sales combined for a rolling 30 days. But I love a challenge, and I love being told that I can't do it. For the last 2 weeks since I've jumped in head first, you can see from the rising sales graph, mine, I have been busting my ass listing every single day while I manage my main Amazon business and have been working on some projects at night. Not only have I been going through all the inventory we have to sell, but going through the closets, drawers, and garage, finding lots of things we have forgot or didn't need any longer. This is my motivation, and I will succeed. I know this. I have the drive and the desire to hit the goal in this inconvenient time, and this is my daily self-motivation right now. I hope a couple of you, and this spoke to me, obviously that's why I'm reading it. Hope a couple of you may be struggling right now, get some sort of goal or self-motivate yourself to do something, whether financial or personal or whatever floats your boat, that needs a floating, because I posted this. There is no I can't. There is only I won't. Don't be the latter person. The world is full of them. Just don't roll over and die because the view from the top of a steep mountain you climbed is way better than taking a simple elevator to the top, baby. Sweat, blood, and tears, man. It is yours for the taking, big or small. So hold yourself accountable. I know I do. I have uploaded the current screenshots of our two eBay accounts below for you to follow along. I'm happy to share my small goals with you. With the room win or lose, because it fires me up. And here he, shared the two screenshots, and that was it. Like when I read that, I don't know, man. I just found that very motivating. I love how Jason put that out there on the line, and you're willing to challenge people to step up. So I just thought that was really strong. And from that, we started messaging. We messaged a bit that day or the next day, I forget which. And then I asked him if he'd like to come on because, number one, the motivation, and number two, just to share his story. So with that being said, Jay, tell us a little bit about your reselling story, like how you began, and just kind of how you began.
Sure. First off, I just want to say I hope I used spell check on that manifesto. And also, I think I got a B in writing in high school, and I think it showed. So now that that's out of the way, my story, basically, like a lot of people, we started with eBay. I was basically full-time out of the gate when I learned about eBay in its first year, which I believe was 1995. So probably was around 21 years old, and just selling anything around the house and trinkets. And I always had that entrepreneurial spirit. So I've always been attracted to the hustle. We all know what hustle is. I don't care what you're hustling, whether it's legitimate or not. It's that feeling of turning, it's like Rumpelstiltskin. It's turning hay into gold, straw into gold. So whether it's, turning $5 into 8 or $5 into 500. So I think for me, it started way back then, with nothing. Like most people, you start off, you got, $100 to your name, $200, and you peter around. And, back then, you were getting checks from people in the mail. There wasn't PayPal and all this stuff. It was old school. And I know you guys probably remember those days. So it definitely went at a different pace. There definitely wasn't as much stuff for sale, or at least the access to stuff that we have today. But it was truly the wild, wild west, and you could make some really, really good deals. So for me, I was good in school, but it really bored me because I always wanted to do my own thing. And I think when I found out about eBay, I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Made some quick sales, and I was off to the races. And I knew pretty much that, that time that I really didn't want to work for anybody the rest of my life, although I did, like most people do, and just kind of learned as I went. And it got to a point where I was full time on eBay for about 6 years, and I think a lot of us in our early 20s, like I was, you make a couple grand a month, and you're doing it from home. You're not having to go to work and report to a boss or be on a schedule. You're selling in your shorts and your robe or whatever, and what do you do with that money? Well, I just like most of us, I just pissed it away on whatever. You go out, you have a good time, you're blowing it. I did a lot of business when I was younger, but I didn't know what business was. I just blew it like most people. So those are the lessons I learned in my early reselling career, starting with that. And then fast forward a few years, get back into the workforce, and try to learn some business skills and things like that. And I kind of got back into it because I missed it, going to being a full-time reseller at a young age and having that openness that you can just kind of come and go as you want. And yes, I did work hard, but that freedom, so to speak, that I think we all like. And going to the workforce, it just didn't feel the same, and it never will to me. It's in my blood. So after a couple of years, you get that itch again. You see something, you see somebody flipping, maybe you see a curb crawler picking up some scrap metal, whatever it did, but it triggers that in you. And you're like, yes, that's what I want to do. I want to go back to that. You start looking. You're looking in the thrift ads, you're going to yard sales, storage unit auctions, all that stuff. And I jumped back into all that stuff. It was storage unit auctions before the Storage Wars TV shows came on. You talk about before and after. I mean, it was really juicy before, and after those shows came on, the crowds were 300 to 500% more, as you guys probably know, and the bids would triple, and it just got to a point where it was comical not even to go, because even if you did win a locker, you were paying up for it. So you go through the motions, but storage unit auctions, eBay, of course, and just flipping, and going from there. So that's a long time, 20 something years ago, and just keep going through the years. You get some business skills, you get that job, turns into a better job. And you're like, all right, well, maybe I should settle in and be like everybody else. And there's nothing wrong with that. Whatever works for you, whatever works for your obligations, your family, your children, whatnot. And that's fine. But one thing that never left was that desire to flip, that desire to turn straw into gold, to be the e-commerce Rumpelstiltskin, whatever you want to call it. So I had moved from Las Vegas, where I'm from, to New Jersey for a couple of years. And I worked for a very large banking company that was going through some problems at the time. And to say that I was miserable would be an understatement. So here I am. I moved to the East Coast, needed to get a real job. I did. I learned some wonderful skills on the business side in that company that I still carry today. But the one thing is it never, the farther deeper I went down that rabbit hole, the more I wanted to go back to the e-commerce rabbit hole. And it got to a point to where on a weekend, I drove around the corner going somewhere. I saw a huge yard sale out on the corner of the guy's house. I went there. I immediately recognized some goods that I wanted to flip that I'd flipped in the past. He was a young guy, talked to him for a while, and bought a few things, went home, and listed them on eBay again. And that feeling came right back. So basically, I enjoyed it, and then I went back to work the next day, and things were back to normal. The following week, I'm driving again. He had another yard sale, all new stuff. I had to stop again, spent even longer there, and I couldn't deny the feeling of wanting to be in that space full time again. And I asked the guy, I says, where are you getting all this stuff? You know, are you dumpster diving, you know, yard sales, thrift stores, estate auctions, whatever? And he said, yes, I'm doing a little bit of that, of course, selling on eBay or whatever. He goes, and I sell a lot on Amazon FBA. And I had never heard of Amazon FBA. And for me, who had been reselling either full-time or part-time for the majority of the last 20 years, for me to not hear that, it was kind of a travesty. And I don't know what silo I was in, but I was in it and I didn't hear about it. And he told me about it. I knew immediately it was something good. I left there, I went home, I looked it up, and I knew immediately that was my ticket back in. It was also my ticket back out of the misery that I was doing, working a full-time job, commuting an hour each way every day in a very high stress environment. And basically I decided to put together a financial plan and pay off debt, build up, you know, credit and capital, and learn as much as I could to jump in full time. And I did. And come December in 2014, I called my boss, who was a great guy, and I said, hey, I'm giving you 30 days notice, I'm out of here. And he let me ride that out, and I left, and I started my company, and I've been full-time Amazon for 5.5 years now.
Wow. How did that feel when you were finally able to tell you're out of here?
Well, it was, you know, I think, you know, whenever you make a big change like that, there's always some reservations. You know, there's always that little scared feeling, but it just went back to experience. You know, I mean, I know how to flip. At the end of the day, I know I'll never have any, you know, I would never be, you know, have financial issues, because you could always go and, whether you're curb crawling or you're picking up pallets and you're dropping them off at the pallet yard, making $1.25 a piece, there's always ways to make money. There's always ways to hustle. You've got to put in the sweat and you got to learn. So for me, it was great. I think I felt weird for about a half hour on the drive home, and then all the pressure went away. And the next morning I was off full time, and I was off to the races, and I haven't stopped since. So it felt amazing. It basically was like going back to the person who I really was.
Nice. I know Scott here sells on Amazon. I've done a little bit of FBA, not very much. I think Clay and Flipping Sloth are mostly eBay. So currently you're selling what on Amazon? You're doing merchant fulfilled mostly, or you're doing FBA also?
No, we've been full time for 5.5 years. FBA. I've always done some merchant fulfilled. We do a lot of health and beauty and things that are hazmat. Even though we are hazmat approved, depending on what it is and quantities, it may or may not be worth us shipping in. So we've always done a decent amount of merchant fulfill, anyways. But as you know, with COVID going on and the warehouse restrictions over the last month, or changing restrictions every day, I just decided that the amount of inventory I had there would just ride, and I would just go ahead and list merchant for the last 4 weeks here. So me and the post office have become best friends in the last month, but sales are great. So in fact, I hadn't shipped an FBA shipment out for a month, and at least at my volume, that's kind of weird, because we do pretty well, and I've never gone probably a week without shipping. So that was a decision I made, and it was good. It allowed me to stay home and deal with the eBay death pile and other things, and everything is good now. So, do you mind sharing your business name? Are you okay doing that? No, actually, I don't. I can't really. There's a lot of people that I deal with that kind of crosses over. I wish I could. Maybe in the near future, I've got some things in the work that I might be able to do that soon, but maybe not till the fall.
Right. And so you said full time 5.5 years. Like, what does that look like? Because I know you threw out some numbers in that post, and like for me as a much smaller seller, I'm like, wow, that much in tax liability. How has the company grown? Like, what's that look like in your 5.5 years?
Well, that tax bill is about half of what it was last year. So, so yeah, good times. But I try to tell people, unless you're really, really good with tax structuring, and you definitely learn some tricks over the years, and if having good CPA helps as well, as I do. But I think if you're making a good income, you probably are paying a decent amount of taxes. So it's kind of look at it both ways. So if I didn't have any tax bill this year, I'd either be lying or I'd be broke, one of the two. So I think I'm okay with paying the tax bill. How does it look? First year, I jumped in by myself, and but it was full time. It was 12 hours a day sourcing and shipping, and then 3 or 4 hours a day every single night online looking for YouTube videos, whatever I could find to increase the knowledge, to speed up the learning curve. And that's a huge thing I think people don't do enough, is they're like, hey, here's FBA, here's eBay, whatever it is, and it's shiny and it's pretty, and they're like, oh, I'll make a few bucks, but they don't. A lot of people don't take it serious as a career. If they do go full time, they're like, well, if I make a couple $100 a week, I'll get by. And for me, I just jumped in. I commit, and I committed. I left, a job making close to $90,000 with really good benefits and job offers from other major banks to go over there. And I threw that on the ground and said, I don't want any more of that pain. I don't want any more of that misery. I know what I want, and I need to replace that income as soon as possible. So basically, out of the gate, by myself, didn't even have a Facebook account until 3.5, 4 years ago. I basically replaced my income in 7 months. Now, that was very painful. To say that I didn't sleep very much would be true, because I just wanted to prove to other people that didn't think that was a good decision for me to leave a very secure job, making a really good wage, to go do my own thing. And basically what I said was, look, I can always go back. I can go back there. I can go back to the competition. So it's a wash. If it doesn't work out in 6 months, no problem. I'll tap out. I'll say you were right, and I'll go back. No worse for the wear. But also I came into it with, 20 years of e-com experience already. So it wasn't like I was just, selling on eBay and Amazon and different platforms. Yeah, they're slightly different, but the concept is the same. Try to buy low, try to sell high, and try to source things that people actually want. It's not that hard of a concept, but so knowing what I had in the past experience-wise, I knew I'd be able to scale up very quick. So that first year was hard because it was that big learning curve. And as some of you know, Amazon is not the easiest platform to list on and to deal with all their different things that they do. So, and it's gotten obviously a little more crazier these days than it was 5 years ago. But so at some point I kept scaling, and as you know, you can only do so much as one person. You just run out of time in the day, and your personal life and your family will get pushed aside more than that should happen. So we just, got to a point where I needed to hire somebody, and I did, and kept growing, and I hired another, and kept growing and growing, and got to a point where I think in 2 years ago, I'd gotten up to 4 full-time people, plus myself, plus my wife at the time, who would help if on occasion if we needed her for a big thing. So scaling up from nothing to doing about $4 million a year in retail sales on Amazon, and a little bit off of Amazon. It felt good, but I think what a lot of people realized in the last 2 or 3 years is that, at least on the Amazon platform, seller fees and things kept increasing, and problems and things like that. And it's gotten a lot more challenging in many areas to sell on the platform. I think for most sellers that are doing, let's say $500,000 in sales or more, their margins over the last, 2 or 3 years have slowly eroded, at least for, I would say, a very large portion, just because of fee structures, lack of reimbursements, things like that that used to be automatic with Amazon that are no longer, or that they make you fight to get. So just got to a point where, you know, I scaled up, and you're working just as hard for 70% of the money, and you're like, all right, I gotta find a better way, because there's a lot of work and there's a lot of SKUs, and I'm dealing with a lot of people, you know, meaning staff, and it's 24 hours a day, and it just got to the point where, like, you know, I need to change my model. I need to change how I do business. So basically, a year ago, I decided to switch from a very large amount of RA. I was probably 90% RA, 10% wholesale. My wife has private label, so we do that as well, but that's kind of a separate thing. But I decided that I wanted to switch that within a year to mostly wholesale. So basically, within a 12-month period, we went from 90% RA to 90% wholesale. And this allowed me to go from 5,000 SKUs down to 2,400 SKUs, down to 1,400 SKUs. So it's a lot easier to manage, less SKUs, less problems, and then start to bring the staff down as well, basically the overhead. So, because you can keep selling, but if your margins keep going down, you're going to come to a head at some point to where if your overhead is really high, it's going to put you in a spot. And it was getting to a point to where I saw that the overhead was really high, and the margins were getting tougher and tougher, because we were really heavy into shoes and things like that a few years ago, where we were selling up to 4,000 pairs a month and things like that. And, you know, first year I was making $17 a pair. The next year was $14 a pair. The next year was $11.75 a pair. And this isn't including all the returns, the fraud, you know, the lack of reimbursements and stuff. So it was just eroding. So the employees obviously would get raises over time. So the overhead was slowly growing, got a warehouse, things like that. But the margins started coming down, and I saw there was going to be this apex there. And we basically had to run the numbers and say, okay, what can we do to offset this? And the first thing we wanted to do was not to, you know, put the staff, you know, in any kind of jeopardy. So we said, let's look at the model. Let's make things easier, or we can be more efficient with the people that we have. And that's when we switched to a very, you know, large portion being wholesale. And that helped out quite a bit in the last year. But even with that, we decided it was best to kind of shrink down from there. And basically in 12 months, we shrunk from 4 down to 0. Part of that was by design. Another part of that was just because, you know, employees kind of have their way of working their way out the door at some point. And we had a few happen last year where they just weren't putting in the effort that they were supposed to for a very long portion of time. And it was just like, okay, we have a very large overhead. This is probably a good time to cut. So we did those with great care, and went from 4 to 3, and then 3 to 2. And then we got around Christmas this year, and we had a situation happen, and we ended up going down to 1, my main person. And then, of course, with COVID and things like that happening, we got to a point to where we had bought a property with a detached casita that was big enough to store our warehouse, so to speak. And our lease was coming up. So we made the decision, with COVID going on and everything, another thing, that we would actually just go ahead and be done with the warehouse, cut that 1,000+ overhead a month, bring it in-house, make it convenient, and go from there. So basically, we're down to 0. I'm employee number 1. That's it. So the dog's not really helping much. So, but it's fun because I can handle, you know, I was doing a couple thousand SKUs myself, but now that it's a lot shrunker, a lot smaller, mostly wholesale, things like that, I can handle that myself right now. If we do need to hire somebody in the future, we will. And we might have to again, because there's some other projects we're working on. But it just got to a point where scalability is fun, and you know, sales are pretty, but at the end of the day, sales means squat. It really is, what are you keeping in your pocket? And it's nice to hit those 7-figure goals, and hey, I sold $1 million, and it's an accomplishment, you know, going from nothing. You know, I don't care if it's 100,000 on eBay or whatever your number is. You know, you should be proud of it because you worked hard and you deserve it. But at some point, you know, the check comes due, so you need to make sure that your numbers are in line for what your goals are, your business goals, and in your future. And we just got to a point to where I was tired of working really, really hard for an ever decreasing margin. So we just decided to switch it up. And then things are really good. So.
Wow, that's quite an inspirational story there. Some really big numbers.
Yeah. I mean, I could tell you, it was a lot more fun doing $500,000 in sales a year by myself than it was doing 4 million with 4 full timers. I can tell you that. Some people can manage a lot of people and they love it. And I didn't hate it, but there were some days where you're like, yeah, I just would rather be back doing eBay and yard sales when I was 21 and flipping Legos or video games or whatever we were flipping, and go back to when it was pure and simple again. So I kind of lost touch of that. I think a lot of these sellers do that when they scale. They kind of lose sight. They see the magical sales number, but they're not really paying attention to the bottom line, and that's a cautionary tale for all of us, including myself.
So obviously Amazon is the main part of your business. So is eBay, is that just something you kind of do for fun? You came up with this challenge, like you said. So your wife is out of town. It's just you and the dog. And was it more to raise money for that tax bill you mentioned, or was this just more of a goal that you just wanted to do something? I mean, what was your mindset when you came up with that eBay goal?
Well, I mean, in the last 4 to 8 weeks, a lot of us have been thrown into the spin cycle with COVID, and some better than others, but some really, really bad. And luckily for us, we're okay, and we have enough inventory here and at our third-party warehouses to survive under any condition for a while, because there's always platforms to sell on. So what happened so we bought this house to renovate and to turn into an investment property. We bought it in December. We started working on construction on the inside, and then basically COVID hit. So now I went from having to make the decision to close the warehouse, let the final staff go, move the warehouse here, stop construction here, and play with the new rules of COVID and what you can send in and what you can't, really not knowing, at least a month ago, really not knowing, are sales going to fall off a cliff for everybody? Am I not going to be able to send anything in? And I don't think anybody really knew 3 or 4 weeks ago if they were going to just shut the warehouses down and say, you know what, we're only going to sell what's here for the next few weeks, and y'all are just going to have to merchant fulfill 100% of what you have. And for many people, that just would not even be an option or a way to do it. So I said, you know what? My wife went to Canada. She's been there for 32 days or something now to go be with her daughter during this crazy time. So here I am. We have significant amount of assets and things around that we wanted to move, but with Amazon being such a busy part of our lives every day, even just up to 4 or 5 months ago when we had 2 full-timers still and a warehouse and all those obligations, now that things have calmed down and they're quiet, it was a perfect time to say, you know what, let's just go ahead and crank this up. Let's just get everything out of here. I don't want anybody in my house doing any construction right now during COVID. So we pretty much stopped all those things going on. It was a good time for me to say, you know what, that stuff is sitting there. I need this space. We're going to be building out that space anyways, and the quicker I can get it out, the better. I think it was just a lot of people, particularly for a couple of days there, for most people, I think they just kind of stopped and said, what's going to happen? Am I going to be able to pay my mortgage? Is Amazon going to stop loan payments, or my credit card is going to allow me to defer? It really got scary there a month ago. And I think for me, it was the same way. All right, let's just stop down and think. Let's just sit down and think real quick. What are we going to do? What should I do? And I looked at it as, first thing is, don't spend a lot of money. And I didn't buy from one of my wholesalers for the last 30 days, right? And that's a first, because it takes money to make money. You got to have product to sell. And I'm like, there's no reason to spend it. There's no reason to put it on a credit card or whatever. You've got a couple thousand items sitting here. Some could go to Amazon, and others can go to eBay or other platforms. So I looked at it as, why try to make money if I got 20, 30, 40, 50,000 in stuff sitting here that's been waiting a couple years to go out the door? So the decision was just to make space and get it out, and knowing that tax bill is coming, and knowing when things kind of settle down, hopefully in a few months, and things open back up a little bit, we're going to want to work on this house again, and that's going to cost tens of thousands of dollars, and that money has to come from somewhere. So that was the motivation, really, was just to get space, get it out of here. use this situation as an opportunity to slow down and hit the reset button.
I like that. I like that mindset. How you just settle down, thought it through, and come up with a game plan. Challenge yourself and challenge others with that post. I'm assuming you got some good feedback on that. Did you get good feedback on that post from anyone else reach out to you?
Yeah, I had a couple. I think I had 3 or so that night or within the first couple hours, and some people asking for help. I had some people say, "Hey, I'm really in a bad spot. I don't know what to do. All my inventory is in clothing or shoes, and they're not allowing me to send it in. And this is my busy season, and I have 1,000 pieces of swimwear, and they won't let me send it in. What do I do?" And then you kind of got to talk them through it and try to help them find their reset button, and see what they can do. And I think for most of us, we all have things laying around the house or in our closets to put on eBay, Posh, Mercari, whatever, Amazon, and to at least stay active and try to stay motivated. Yes, for some, they're really in a tough spot, and I know a lot of people were just waiting on these stimulus checks to come in. But for most people, I think they tend to give up very quickly, and they need a little bit of a nudge, like we all do sometimes, to say, "Hey, things are going to be okay, and you've got stuff, and if you need to raise $1,000, well, let's talk it out. What do you have?" And start throwing out some ideas of what I was selling, with things I was finding in my garage, in my closets and drawers and things like that. And it's crazy because I don't know about you guys, but sales, at least for me, are through the roof. And this was before the checks went out in the last couple of days. So I think people are stuck at home, and there's a lot of obviously retailers of all kinds that they can't get to, particularly maybe if you're in a smaller rural area. And if you need something, you need something, and people are going online to pay for it. And I figured that would happen. So I would say for many of us, coupled with that and the checks coming out and rolling out over the next 2 months, for me, it's like Q4 right now. I have a lot of friends right now that are absolutely destroying it, and they're out there hustling at the Walmarts and Targets and whatever places in their cities that are still open. And they're like, you know what, a month ago, we were all scared and we didn't know if we will be able to sell or what was going to happen, but they realized that life does go on and there's always cracks to exploit and get in there. And I don't mean price gouging and doing those type of things. I just meant, people need things. They need video games to play. They need to cut their hair. They need things, and they're going to buy. Not everybody is down and out, or they're not able to not buy things, so they're going to buy things. And I think we're starting to see that now, particularly with the checks coming in. I think you're going to see a lot of spikes for a lot of people. So basically just saying, don't give up. The money's coming, but you have to get off the mat. I can only encourage you. And if we hang up the phone, if you decide to just go sit on the couch and watch Tiger King for the next 6 nights, I can't help you there. You're not going to sell anything. So get in those drawers, get in the backyard, find some things that you really haven't used for a long time. Do I really need this? And then make that decision. So
that's good. I think that's a good segue to my next question. There's another post on the green room where people are posting their daily sales and packages that are going out. And I know you've been active on that. You want to maybe kind of tell everybody, like, since you've been doing this little eBay challenge, like, what does your day look like? How many hours are you listing? What numbers are you pushing out as far as listings and daily sales to maybe try to motivate some of our listeners to get out there and list?
I've always been with the adage of is go hard as you can for as long as you can until you can't anymore, or you shouldn't be doing it anymore. Meaning, it's time to stop and take care of your obligations with your family or whatever you have going on in your daily life. So for me, still running that Amazon business, and numbers are good. Obviously things are moving, but adding back on the eBay side, which I really have not, wasn't dealing with much at all for the last 3 or 4 years as I was scaling the other business. It took about 2 or 3. There was 2 or 3 days of I like to call it eBay depression or death pile depression, where you're like, yeah, there it is. And but I think once you settle in, you realize, you know what, this is the time to do it. I mean, you can sit here and look at the walls of the plane, or you can get in there and jump, turn some music on, put YouTube channels in the background, you listen to other pickers and flippers and things, and learning things as you go. It really does help, and it just recharges the juice again. So for me, I was just posting the last few days. My hauls of what I was taking to the post office in the morning, and I was taking I call it 3 bags of high society. It was three Nike bags full of merchant fulfill and eBay orders and stuff like that. When I wasn't really taking any, because I wasn't doing eBay myself. So it felt good to say, hey, you guys might be crushing me in eBay because I was really the FBA guy. But for me, I'm dropping off 45 packages a day when I was doing 1. So for me, that's 45 days of that death pile, 45 more packages going towards that 90-day goal of paying down those taxes of money that's already been paid for. That product's already been paid for. It's been sitting there. The bill came due a long time ago and it's been paid. So for me, it's sitting there. Let's get it out and go from there. So just encouraging people, say, hey, I don't want to be on eBay as a full-time FBA guy, but once you kind of get back into it, you're like, all right, is it really that different? Is it really that bad? And you realize that, what? I started on eBay, like most of us did back in the day. And you're like, what? This is really who you are. This is where you started. Get in there, get in the dirty stuff, get the used stuff, the new stuff. Just throw it up there and see what sticks. And, making a ton of sales. I'm selling for $10, $11, $12. And, maybe you're making $6 and you're like, what? That thing was junk. I couldn't stand that thing. I got things at $1 at a yard sale 2 years ago, and somebody gave me $6, $8, $12 for it. Like, who cares? If it's easy to pack and it's not going to take 5 minutes to do, throw it up. And it's nice to see it go, because now you have this extra room in there. So you can kind of breathe a little bit more as your walls start to reappear, and you get to see what color your carpet is again, and stuff like that. So just encourage people that, I may have scaled an FBA business and put my eBay thing aside, but I can just jump right in on the go and say, all right, Jason, let's just get back in there and go hard. And within days, popping out 45, 50 orders a day, right? I'm no different than you. Just get in there and list it. Just list it and get into it. Put some music on, whatever. Make it fun. I don't sit there in a like I said, my wife's done. I'm not sitting there with no sound and doing nothing. I'm listening to resellers on YouTube or the radio. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to level up my game in some way. I'm turning on music. I'm watching YouTube videos while I'm prepping. Just make it fun again. You got to remember, this is your career. This is your job. But nobody says you have to be miserable doing it. Have a little fun. Have some fun. It makes it go a whole lot quicker. So
that's good. That's good. Let me go ahead and open it up to the rest of the guys here. Y'all got any questions for Jason? Scott, I know you do some Amazon and eBay, and I know Jason's not probably a lot larger than anyone's here, but
right. Yeah, I know he's doing more wholesale, so I've been doing more of RA and OA, so it's ramping it back up. I did a couple months off for getting my YouTube channel monetized, so that took time and energy, of course. But doing this merchant fulfilling sort of sucks, but it's, I'm getting back out there and dropping off at the post office 50, like you said, packages. So, you got boxes coming in and passing everybody in the line. They don't have how to print labels or anything. So it's a mess, but it's fun though. It's fun to get in there. And like you said, the sales are great right now. Might as well go out there and take advantage of what you can make and go make and everything else like that. So go ahead.
I was just going to say, just listening to Jason talk. I mean, can y'all believe he doesn't have a YouTube channel? Don't you think Jason should have a YouTube channel that I think you would kill it, Jason. Just with your knowledge and just that motivation that you give off, that combination would be deadly. Just something to think about.
The truth is as I had made a decision a couple of years ago that I wanted to scale that business up to, I set some long-term goals of 5 years, and I wanted to scale it a certain amount and bring in a certain amount per year, or, have a certain amount of assets after 5 years or whatever. And for me, I realized that if I wanted to do something, I really needed to jump in 100%, and adding a channel or something at the time would have really taken away from the Amazon side, particularly once I had more and more staff, because they have needs, and there's always going to be people that are sick or have special requests and things like that. And I decided at that time for the last couple of years, it wasn't in my best business financial interest to add that at the time. I knew I would have suffered on the Amazon side, and I wasn't willing to give that up. But now that I'm no longer actively trying to scale, and I'm not trying to add a bunch of staff and things like that, I'm trying to just dial it in and be mean and lean, which is where we're at right now, which feels really, really good, particularly right now with things going on. That opportunity to start something, I'm starting to hear the chirps from people again, and we're going to do it. We're going to do it real soon, probably a couple months. There's a few things going on in the background I'm working on that I haven't told anybody. So I'm just doing those things at night after my eBay listing all day, and getting those things taken care of so I can jump in. So I just want to give value and give 100% what I do, and always feel bad if I disappoint people. But I know you can't please everybody, but you can at least try. So, but I do appreciate the kind words, and so keep an eye on it. A couple months, it'll be there. I promise.
Sure, let us know. We'll be some of the first subscribers. So you mentioned all these sales that are going out. If you're working through that big death pile, what are some things that are selling right now?
Well, I think toys, games, puzzles, anything entertainment to keep the kids occupied and the parents not to kill them is really high on the list right now. That's super. It's funny. I would say the two things that were probably really challenging were probably clothing and team athletic sporting goods, because obviously social distancing. But I have been pleasantly surprised because I've sold a bunch of shoes. I've sold a bunch of winter jackets and ski stuff, which blows my mind. But then again, it's still cold in many places, and people are still skiing, and people don't, people can ski in social distance, I guess. So maybe that's why things are selling. But very big in health and beauty. I have been for about 4 years. So one thing I learned from the 2008 crisis, and I've seen a lot of articles on it, is that people still want to look decent at home. At least there's a percentage of people that still want to make themselves not go to waste at home. And those things move very well. But I think just in general, almost anything is moving. It's crazy. I think people have a short attention span, and they get bored. And they're like, well, if I can't go get that, I'm just going to go on eBay. I'm going to go on Bosch. I'm just going to go get it right now. It's as simple as hitting add to cart or buy it now and going from there. I've even done a couple of those things myself this week where I've just needed to unwind and just randomly buy some crap at night. So it feels good to buy stuff. We have that impulse. So I would say list everything, just anything. The stuff I've sold has been stupid. Like, why do you want that? But you knew somebody wanted it. And right now, there's just a very large influx of people online that just were either in school and now they are not at school, or they were at work and now they're not at work, or they never really used the internet much and now they're like, well, I guess I need my entertainment now because the Bridge Club is closed. And people are shopping. So I would say now is the perfect opportunity in this time of crisis to kill that death pile and to make money, because it's flying off the shelf.
So would you say, as you are ramping up your listings, are you seeing a correlation in the sales that are also increasing? Do you think basically it's the old adage, the more you list, the more you sell?
Always. I mean, I think you have to provide some sort of value. I mean, I think certain things you can mark up right now. There's just supply and demand. The demand is much higher for certain things like video games, puzzles, board games are super, super hot right now. People are stuck at home, as you know, and they just need to entertain themselves. If I hear one more person say I'm bored right now because I've been stuck at home for a month, I'm gonna go crazy. But I understand, because I've been here with the dog for a month waiting for my lovely wife to come back from Canada sometime next week. So I get it. I've gotten a little squirrely myself too. So yeah, the more you list, the more you're going to sell. I'd say be reasonable if it's just an everyday item. If it's just it's a mascara, I don't think you need to take a $7 mascara and make it 20. That's not going to work. Walmart's is still open. CVS is they can still get that mascara. They're an essential type store. So just kind of think, I find this at Walmart, Target, these places that are open in most places in the U.S. If the answer is no, then maybe you can get an extra couple bucks for it, and that's pretty much what I'm seeing.
So, how's the private label business going right now? I know your wife isn't there, but are you guys putting that on hold, or is that still running on?
Yeah, it's funny. So my wife has a private label line. She's been selling for about 4 years, and not a huge amount of products. I think there's like 7 or so, mostly in the spa type industry. They're all kind of in the same eco-friendly spa beauty type thing. Not makeup, but more like tools and things like that. But they've always been steady, Eddie.
Okay.
So I always get a little jealous when I'm complaining and I had a very rough day. I'm like dealing with 4 guys and 4,000 SKUs, and she's like, I had a tough day. I'm like, you have 6 SKUs. You have 6 SKUs. How bad can it be, right? But so I always have to kind of back off and go, all right, she's dealing with, people jumping on her listings, selling counterfeits or from China. So she has her problems too, but not as many as me. But her stuff. Because most of her stuff she can't get at stores right now. Her sales have gone up 100% in the last 3 days. They're definitely not essentials. They're definitely nothing that everybody needs to have. But with basic tools, if people want a hairbrush, they're going to buy a hairbrush or whatever, things like that. So much so we've had to call China and pay triple to have air freight to get
over.
So she's had some issues with a product or two for getting shut out of the Canadian platform because she sells in the U.S. and in Canada. She was established in Canada a little bit, about 2 years, for about 5 years now, and in the U.S. for about 3. So her Canadian sales are generally about triple because they're much more established. Yeah. But U.S. is starting to catch up now that she's starting to get much more feedback and things like that. But it's been a blessing. We didn't see that coming. She's had to raise her prices on most of her items 3 times in the last month. Before anybody throws out gouging, like I said, I don't know if a hairbrush is essential and price gouging. There's a lot of hairbrushes and things up there. It's nothing like sanitizer or anything like that. So yeah, it's been great. I would say she's brought in, it's going to be an extra 10 grand or something this month just in profit on that, which is totally unexpected. So awesome. That money can also go towards taxes or to work on the rental property, in 3 or 4 or 5 months when things get a little bit open. So
what you see your eBay business going in the next year with everything going on?
Well, one of my niches that I've been doing for about 4 years, I do a lot of store closings and liquidations. I travel the country a lot. It's definitely a specialty of mine. So we do buy out a lot of stores at the end, or we'll go there during, part of their 2-3 month liquidation process. So that would probably be about 50% of my sales over the last 4 years. It's very significant. We would send our teams out on the road. So with that, you get a lot of junk. You get a lot of stalls and things that maybe they're Dr. Scholl's corn pads or something that may only sell for $4 at the store, and it's not worth selling them on Amazon with the fees. So sometimes you need to bundle things up or sell multi-packs and things like that to qualify. So we have a lot of that stuff from store buyouts that might be things that only sell for $7, $8, $9, $10 that either don't have a listing, they're restricted, or whatever. So that's not going to change. That's something that we focus on. That's something that we're very, very good at. And that's a very fun industry. It's also very challenging. Most people won't do it, or they won't do it to the level that we do it because it's very costly. It's very time consuming. It's hard to be out on the road for 7 days or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and go from hotel to hotel in the middle of nowhere. So we do put in the sweat equity. We do that stuff, and we've learned a lot of good things over the last 4 years of doing that. And a lot of those products end up on eBay. So I would say the majority of our eBay stuff, I would say 85% is from those store closings, and the other 15 is probably Amazon returns, open box, and restrictions.
And what's OA?
Online arbitrage.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. I saw that earlier today, and I was like, "What the f is OA?"
Yeah, retail arbitrage and OA.
Yeah, that I know, but
Yeah.
I'm not, because of teaching. I hate acronyms. Seriously, I just hate it, because you can ask Brian. They change. They'll be like, "This is a pin," but next year it's a P period, E period, N period. Then 3 years later, it's a, you know what I mean? They change it. So sometimes I'm like, I don't want to learn more acronyms. You know.
Is my mic working, by the way?
Yeah. Hey, Jay.
Yo, what's up, guys?
What's going on, Jay? Jay's in the UK. He's our UK seller.
It's 2 a.m. here, so I'm a little bit tired.
Yeah. We appreciate you staying up.
Yeah,
Just about awake.
Are you having some of your tea?
No, I actually had a package of flavored tea arrive today, and it was terrible. So I'm not very happy about that. But
I know you're particular on your tea.
I thought I would try something new since this lockdown, and it wasn't very good. So back to the old Yorkshire tea.
Yorkshire, yeah, not Earl Grey.
No.
Yeah, your microphone's really good.
Is it?
I think so. Yeah, sounds
I
really
had to
cool.
turn my fan off in the background. It's like.
So Jay, have you haven't been outsourcing in how long now?
Oh, you know what? This whole situation has been like kind of in the news in the UK for a bit longer than I think you guys have had it over there. So I stopped going out like early March.
That's what I thought, because you haven't had a video.
Yeah, no, the reason why I stopped making the videos was because I was moving house. I actually moved house on the 23rd of March, which was the day the UK got put in full lockdown. So I was kind of panicking that my internet wasn't going to get set up, but the guys managed to come out and sort that out for me. But yeah, thankfully I got everything moved and it's all sorted and all of that. But I've not had anything to list for nearly a month maybe, but my sales are still up 25%. I think I had a week or two where it just completely died off mid-March. I think everyone was panicking about their money, not getting paid or whatever. And then as soon as they went in lockdown, they just all started buying everything. And all my stuff's entertainment, games, board games, all of that kind of stuff. So it's been flying. And I actually found out today that half my stuff's somehow not even listed anymore. So I've got loads of stuff to list now.
It just disappeared.
Well, my mum sent me a text this morning saying, do you happen to have any puzzles? Because she's getting bored. So I was like, I know I got some puzzles because I've seen them when I pull my orders. But then I was looking through my eBay on my app and I couldn't find them anywhere. So I was like, that's interesting. So I went and found them and they were there. So then today I've been checking everything. And yeah, half my stuff's not even up anymore. So I don't know how that's managed to happen, but I got some
So now you get to relist.
Yeah, I got more stuff to list tomorrow, so that'll be fun.
Do you have a death pile besides that stuff now, I guess?
No, I've had nothing. I always list because I don't drive. So
really
stuff. It's all public transport for me, which is a pain because I was one of those kids that decided driving wasn't for me. And that's kind of come back to bite me now that I do this for a living. But yeah, it's all public transport. So again, another reason why I stopped, because I was not getting on a train and I was not getting on a death shuttle to get into town, a bus. That was for sure.
Yeah.
So
I don't blame you. I'm trying to. The more this goes on, I'm like, I'm done sourcing until we can go out anywhere.
Yeah, and you guys have bigger thrift stores out there. They're big, so you can stay away from people inside one of yours. Ours were tiny little shops.
Yeah, your thrift store.
If I go into one, I'm standing next to like 2, 3. Like it's inevitable that I'm gonna be right next to someone. So I kind of knocked that on the head a lot earlier than most people would. That maybe would have a car or whatever, but. Yeah, for me, I just could never pick up mass amounts. I can't shove it into a car and take it home. It was always whatever I could carry. So I would always manage to get my stuff listed within a day or two. So I never really built up a death pile.
Nice. That's good.
It was good. It was good then, but now everyone's got these massive death piles to work through, and I'm sat here like I don't have anything until today.
Have you tried any of the online arbitrage?
I do that as much as I can, but I don't really like going into stores that much and standing there looking for stuff. But
no, I mean not the retail, the online, like buying from someone else who doesn't realize that. Not like I've probably sold something to somebody that I could have sold it for more, and flip it.
I've bought stuff off eBay before to resell, but that's about it from online. Other than I used to do drop shipping, but I guess that's online technically.
Yeah, like for example, Jay, I guess a week or two ago, I was look under auctions. Lot is a keyword to use. Like for example, I did watches, and I bought like 22.5 pounds of watches. There's probably about 70 watches in there, and a lot of them are vintage. And I only paid like 120 something bucks. And I went through several of them, and like I found a couple of watches that are worth like over $100, and I just need to change out those batteries. So that might be something you could look into, like look under lots, under auctions, ending soonest.
I bought a bunch of watches on eBay on an auction a while back, and I actually got a ding on my eBay account for one of them because they sold it in a lot. And there was like this really expensive watch on there, and I'd relisted it. And then the company that owned that watch were like, yeah, that's not genuine. I was like, it is, because I actually went into a jeweler's to get it checked out. It was only like £100 or something. It wasn't like £1,000 watch or something, or dollars. But they were like, yeah, that's fake. You can't do that on eBay. So I got one of those warning things. So I just took them all down, and I rang up eBay and I was like, how comes I'm allowed to buy it from someone on eBay and it's okay for them to sell it to me, but then as soon as I list it, I'm getting this ding, and they're like, oh well, that's not our fault. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Like,
because they know the right people or something. I don't know.
They saw
they're huge, maybe, or something. Maybe
they saw the listing because I showed it to them, and they was like, yeah, there's nothing we can do. Like, you've got a 30-day. I think they did like I couldn't list something for like 7 days or something. I can't remember what it was. It was a while back, but yeah, I've done watches before.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, that sucks to get that account restriction, but obviously there's different products out there, but it's just one way. That must be tough not being able to get out. Like for me, I've been doing like online auctions, and like today I bid and won several bids last night, and today I went and picked it up, and it's pretty safe. They do it by appointment, so it was just me in the warehouse, and got the mask and the hand sanitizer and keeping the distance. But I was able to pick up, probably 30 pieces. Spent like $230, and it could be like 1,500 plus on sales once I get it all listed. So.
Well, that's another thing. The UK right now is like so low on protective equipment. Like even for our health service, we don't have face masks enough, or hand sanitizer is impossible to find. So I can't even go out with a face mask. Like I just don't have access to that. I don't know where I would even get one from at this point. And if I would trust where it came from. Certainly you can't go into a pharmacy here and get a face mask.
Oh, most places here, yeah. Everyone here, because like in Dallas County, the county commissioner said starting, I think Saturday, you have to at least wear a cloth mask anywhere. And Dallas County would be like, Jason, are you still in Jersey?
Myself? No, I'm in Las Vegas.
Oh, back in Vegas. Yeah. So what, Clark County or whatever. I mean, yeah, all these big areas. Yeah, there's no real, real protective mask anywhere. Yeah. I have a friend who that Brian knows used to teach with me, and she's a nurse now. Like, she'd kill me. I can't remember. I think it's either post-surgery or ICU, and she's like a floor up from I don't know how many COVID. It's a smaller hospital out in the suburbs, but she's reusing the same mask, and she's giving birth in about 4 weeks, whatever. And you're like going, that's great that, and she's going to keep working because money, she's already got 2 kids and, she'll be off for a while, but you're like reusing a mask. That's one thing for me to reuse a mask. I just leave it in my car to go to the store or whatever. But yeah, I don't blame you for not getting out.
Yeah, I almost feel guilty because like Jason was talking about storage units. I do some storage units too. And I have the N95 mask for storage units, right? So that's what I have, and so that's what I wear when I go out, and I almost feel bad for doing it, but I'm like, I don't gotta use it.
The house that I just moved from, literally the garden or the yard, I think you guys call it, backed right onto a hospital. And I'd lived there for 4 years, and I've been in the surrounding area of this hospital my whole life. And I've never, ever even seen a face mask my entire life. Like, even like the staff leaving the hospitals, like no one wears masks. And then like the first time seeing it, it's just like, oh, that's pretty crazy. Like, these people wear masks everywhere. And there's me without a mask. Like, yeah, I'm not going anywhere near. I'm so glad I moved house, man. Like, I'm away from that hospital a little bit, but yeah.
Hey, Jay, how many people are in your house?
It's just me and my dad. Just 2 of us.
If you don't mind, when the show is over, if you could either speak with me or the guys here and give me your name and address, I'll send you 2 masks and some Purell. I've got a little bit extra that from a reseller friend of mine that was paying it forward and sent me a little more than I thought. I misunderstood the size of the bottles he was sending me. My wife is in Canada for months, so I'm happy to send that to you at no cost. I'll send you a couple masks and some Purell for you and your father, okay?
Cool, thank you. Cheers. Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
That's awesome.
That's very nice. Yeah, I've not been able to get even sanitizer. The funny thing is, we have you have like Dollar Store in the UK, right? Dollar Tree or something. We have Poundland, and I think it was like the end of February. I went in there and because they had obviously hand sanitizer in there back then, and it was £1 each. So I got like 4 of them. I was like, oh, that'll be fine. This thing will blow over. I'll have a bit of hand sanitizer. And I was thinking at the time, I could literally buy all of this out. But then in my head, I was like, nah, that's really bad. I got to leave it for everyone. Like, can't do that. And then like now it's like, I should have just at least taken some more for myself. But I went through that 4 bottles of those like 50 mils or something in like 2 weeks. And then you couldn't see it. It was gone after that. No one had any of it. So, but I'm glad everyone else. I didn't take it all. I would have felt bad to do that, but
yeah, it's hard to want to take too much of anything right now.
Yeah, I mean, thinking back, like it's crazy. The UK shut everything down so late as well.
So Jason, just kind of thinking back. So, is there one piece of advice that maybe you would give other resellers that are just starting out, just starting that grind? You know, they're hitting garage sales, thrift stores, and maybe they have big dreams of, you know, having a big business like yours one day. Obviously, goal setting seems to be a big part of your repertoire. Is there any piece of advice or anything that you could share that might help people as they try to climb that ladder?
Yeah, a couple things. This worked for me. I think a lot of people who have not resold before, who want to try it out, or they're familiar with it and they just want to jump in. But I think they don't realize that at the end of the day, you should make it fun, but it is work and it is a grind. And at least for a lot of people, particularly if you're going to try to go super hard and make it a career. So just understand that you can make your own hours, but you still have to do the research. You still have to prep. You still have to ship. You still have to deal with customers and issues. So treat it like a job, and you'll do much better. Also, I think a lot of people get overwhelmed from the start, and they want to set these big goals, and that's fine to set them. But I encourage everybody to set a lot of smaller short-term goals. So when I started, I set a 5-year goal to be in a certain financial position at the 5-year mark. But within that very long 2,000 days worth of goal, you can get caught up in the hustle for the first couple of weeks, first month, and you're going hard and you're excited, and you're learning and you're finding cool stuff and you're making a few bucks and you're really encouraged. But you're going to start to run out of steam a little bit, usually in a month or 2 or 3, and it'll start to become, even though you're making money, it's starting to become like old habit. So it's kind of like your favorite food might be pizza, but if you eat pizza every single night, it will start to get a little bit old. And even though maybe you have to eat it to survive, you have to grind to survive. And understanding that out of the gate's important. But if you focus on your long-term solely, it's really hard to get motivated. That will happen for years. Make those goals, but set micro goals, because it's a whole lot easier for me to say my goal this week is to list 50 items on eBay, because it's fair. You reach it. It's attainable. It's right down the street. Like I can get there. It's Sunday. I can get there by Sunday, no problem. It's a little hard to say my goal is to list 100,000 auctions in the next 5 years. Mentally, it just blows it out of the park. It's not fun. So setting these short goals will help you, or steps, get to the next one. So you hit it or get close, assess whether you did hit it or not, and say, what can I do better? What good things can I do more? What things did I do wrong that I could adjust or eliminate? And then set the next one, or set another one. So for me, in my first year as a reseller, I set weekly goals, I set a monthly goal, and I set a yearly goal. The yearly goal was great, but for me, I looked at it as, if I didn't have those 12 pieces of the puzzle, meaning those monthly goals, and they were decent pieces in the right position, then I probably wouldn't hit that yearly goal. And for me to hit that monthly goal, if I didn't realize that I had 4 weeks to do it, like I love monthly goals because they're very attainable. They're right in front of you. So for me, I looked at it as, here's my monthly goal. I would stick it out there in the public and say, hey, I'm up front. This is my goal for the month. I'm going to go ahead and report back in a month, or go from there. We all have bad days. We all have bad weeks. We all have bad luck. Maybe you just bought some stuff that you thought would fly off the shelf, and for some reason it isn't. You can have a bad week in reselling. You can have a bad couple weeks, even though you're still putting in the grind and you're working hard. Usually that bad luck will go away if you keep pushing. So for me, I might have had family in town, or maybe you got sick with the flu for 4 or 5 days, and you're like, I need to be in bed and recover, and I really should not be in there grinding, listing all day. And so you get a little bit behind on that monthly goal. But the good part is, you come out of it a week later, you're healthy, and you're like, all right, I dug myself a little bit of a hole, but now I have 3 more weeks to push a little extra hard to get to that monthly goal. And that's what I would do. And I'd never miss my monthly goals. I always hit them. Why? Because if I came out of the gate cold, meaning putting in the work, or just had some bad luck or whatever, I would just push that harder in week 4 to bring it home strong. So for me, it was easy. I knew in week 2, after 2 weeks, I was 20% behind my goal, that I'd have to push a lot harder in week 3 to get ahead of the curve. And that's okay. So for me, hitting those monthly goals were huge. And before you know it, your 12 months is up, and there you go. You're at your year, and hopefully you've hit that goal. And that was easy for me. So for me, set micro goals. It's a whole lot easier to focus on today, this week, this month. to get to your long-term goals. If you say, hey, I want to be a millionaire, well, you can't be a millionaire today, but if you put together a string of goals, then you probably can get there. So that's what I suggest. So
that's good. I know Clay and I like I've only been reselling a few years, and Clay's probably about 6-9 months reselling, and we've been talking a lot about goals. And there's a big YouTube channel, Daily Refinement. He's a reseller, and he has yeah. So he has that Patreon group, and I finally signed up because of that accountability call that he has every morning, 6 a.m. Pacific time. And normally that's 8 a.m. my time, so I'd be teaching. But now that we're doing the online teaching, I've got a lot of free time. So I've signed up, and I love that morning accountability call. And that's basically what you're saying. Like Monday, this was my first week. Monday, we set our weekly go, and then each day you check in. Hey, what are you working on today? What are some problems? And there's something about having 15 or 20 people that are focused, and everybody's at different levels, probably from your level to somebody just starting, but everybody's so helpful. And when there's almost like this energy or the synergy when you get a lot of people that are driven and working on these goals and helping each other out. That I love starting my morning like that. It just kind of sets me up for the whole day, and so it pushes me to hit those daily goals, which leads to the weekly goals, which then is the monthly goals. So like you said, doing those little those micro goals, and I think also having that accountability, kind of putting yourself out there and telling other people, hey, this is what I'm working on this week, and holding me accountable. I think that's going to really help me. I hope, because I've been doing it about 2 years, and it's a part-time job, but honestly, I'm at the point where I'm making more doing this than I am teaching. But I would, like you were talking about that freedom. I want that freedom to be able to do this full time, but I've got to hit certain goals, and so I need something to help push me out of this kind of rut I'm stuck in. And I'm hoping between that accountability group and like posts like yours, and that's why I joined the group. I know some people say you shouldn't pay for content, but I think if you pay for the right content, what you're paying is like pennies on the dollars on the nuggets and the motivation, the inspiration, the knowledge that you can get. I know YouTube is great. Like anybody joining in, they're getting a lot of good information that you're sharing and others are sharing, but I think you should be open-minded to be willing to pay to shorten that learning curve and to help reach those goals.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if you're gonna, anybody can probably do their own landscaping at their house, but if you pay a professional, it'll probably get done a lot better and a lot faster. Of course, you don't want to overpay, but can you find pretty much anything for free on the web? Absolutely. But there's one huge caveat to that: time. How long is it going to take you to find that? How long is it going to take you to learn that? Maybe there's a lot of information that's in an offering or a video, but there's only a nugget or two in there. There's a lot of fluff, a lot of filler, and that's fine. But sometimes people just want to get right to the point, and it's already laid out properly. It's and you get to it. So, I believe certain things, yes, you should be looking to get them for free because maybe it's fairly common. You just need to know. But other things, if you really want to speed things up and you can afford to do it, yes, absolutely. Whether it's you're paying somebody $5 to their Patreon account, or you're paying $5,000 to a private label group, you really just have to vet the people, and really vet yourself. What's your goal? Is your goal to just, I want to dabble in private label? Well, maybe you don't want to spend $5,000 on a group to dabble. Why don't you try it yourself and spend $500 or just buy a very small quantity of a couple hundred units from China for $1 product and learn that way. But if you're like, hey, I want to do this hardcore, I want to go big on this, and I've got some money in the bank and I can afford to do this, and I want to build a portfolio of 35 products in the next 2 years. Yeah, you probably need to push a little harder and get access to better information. So I'm definitely okay with paying for information. I've paid for it, and I will definitely pay for more. So that's for sure.
And Brian, for a second, yeah, I forgot that you told me you found him in the green room or whatever, because I was sitting there thinking, well, why are you talking to him about daily refinement? Because he's in daily refinement and he's talking exactly like Chris. Basically, if you didn't know, if people didn't know who Chris or he was, I would just be like going, listen to either of them. Because, and Brian says a lot of the same stuff, trust me, to me all the time. I mean, I keep making to-do lists, and I'm not a big girl.
Let's see to-do list. Hold up.
That's the next few days.
All right.
The first thing here, not to go into it, or is combine all the other to-do lists that are behind me. But so you sound a lot like Chris, because I've started to watch him a little more, whatever, and the processes. And so Jason, I can see why you do what you do and how well, because you're like him, and boom, this, whatever.
I got a funny story on Chris Lynn and daily refinement. First of all, Clay, I think you're actually in the green room, if looking in your background there. So, speaking of green room, that's Clay there. No, I met Chris, I think, through the green room a couple years ago, and I was pretty active in the group. And Chris came on, and I really liked his motivation. It reminded me of some of the things that I was speaking on. Just putting out good content, and trying to motivate himself and other people. And I gravitated towards his posts. And he, at some point in that year or so, in that first year, he started his channel and on YouTube and some other things. And I followed him in the background to see how he would do. Because I really thought that he had a lot of good things that he was offering. He had good content and provided a lot of free value. And I talked to him. He reached out to me about 6 months in, and I hope he doesn't get mad at me saying this, but he reached out to me about 6 months into his YouTube channel. And he said, "Hey, Jason," he goes, I know you put out a lot of content and videos or whatever, even though I didn't have my own channel, with different platforms and whatever. And he said, "I'm starting to get a foothold. My subscribers are growing." I don't know what he had at the time, 10,000 or something, I don't know. But he goes, "I'm starting to get a lot of pushback. He's starting to get paid and comments and haters and things like that." And he's like, I think he said something like, how do I handle that, or what as I continue to grow, like, what would you do to handle that? And the very first thing I said to him was, congratulations, you've made it.
Yeah.
Because if you're not getting hated on, you probably haven't grown enough to be hated on by the masses. So I go, congratulations. So he laughed at that, and I go, it will never stop. You'll never be able to please everybody. And you just have to do what in your heart is for you, and to continue to expand and provide value, not only to your listeners, but potentially financial value to yourself over the long run. And it's been nice to see him in the background. I actually hadn't reached out to him in probably a year or so, and I hadn't really seen his channel up until a couple months ago, but I've been doing a lot more YouTube since I've been home the last few months, and came back onto his daily refinement channel. And it's nice to see that he has grown as I expected he would, and he's doing great. And I think he's doing very, very well. I enjoy his podcast, and I think he provides great value to people out there. So if anybody in the feed, I definitely recommend Daily Refinement with Chris Lynn. He's dedicated to it. You can tell by the work he puts in with his podcast and how often he does it. And he's good. So Chris, I can only imagine the hate he gets now, but that's good. That means he's worked really hard, and I'm happy for him. Super happy for Chris.
Good.
Yeah.
Anybody out there, if y'all got any questions for anyone, Jason, anyone else, feel free to put them in the comment box.
I gotta get going. The baby's like crying and stuff.
Yeah, we hear that.
Yeah. So, thanks, guys, for having me on.
Dinner time. Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
Hey, about 1:20. We always appreciate it. Yeah, this is dinner time. With
It's
that many
time,
kids.
so, kids are going crazy. I'm about ready to kill a couple of them. So
remember,
so
one at a time, though. One at a time, so it's not as obvious. But and look, here's the good thing: no one will notice.
No one will notice.
That's
Nobody
sad.
will even know.
I shouldn't say that because there's somebody else who is killing someone right now having that same thought.
Right.
Going, they're not going to know that so and so is gone for 6 months.
Exactly.
The Tigers.
All he has to, like my teenager, all he has to do is check in online, once or twice a day for school, make sure he's there, and then I could do that for him. I could just check in.
Exactly. There you go.
Say he's there. So, but yeah, having a teenager home all the time, it's it's a little nerve wracking. So, but and then the baby on top of it, you know. You have the baby.
Yeah.
So, anyways. Thank you guys as always. We'll see you this time next week. And nice to meet you, Jason.
You too.
And we'll see you next week.
All right. Thanks, Scott.
Yeah.
Subscribe to Scott's channel, Dumpster Diving Dad. Check it out. He's got some good content out there.
Watch my commercials.
He's monitoring.
That's
watch my commercials.
Yeah.
I got 30 cents so far. So
I know. You do need to get it printed out and frame a check or something.
Exactly. Thanks, guys.
See you, Scott.
And Jason, I think I was messaging you. Feel free. We stay on here a long time. If you need to go, feel free to go or stay as long as you like. Either way is fine. No pressure.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I got some questions for Clay.
Okay.
So, Clay, Brian said that you've been reselling now for about 9 months.
I started buying. I started buying 9 months. So here's my story. So I've known Brian. He's taught at my school for a few years before me. And I met him. He was one of the first people I met when I started 13 years ago. And my friend Carissa is her name, who used to teach with me, we started at the same time at the school and met him because she was coaching. And she and I become friends in the alternative program. And we could just tell he was a nice guy. Like when he gave us advice, we could tell that it was like genuine. When he was like, look, these people are nice, but don't confide in them, you know? And it's this little group that I called the Griner Mafia, because we teach at a school named Griner. And he knows who I'm talking about. And they're all nice people. And one of them is, we really like this person now that the other mafia is gone. So that's just our connection. And then I'd see him, sometimes it'd be every few months because we're not really in the same department for years. And then last year, I just started seeing him more as he'd be going up the stairs near my classroom. And he'd start, and I knew he was selling like starting a couple of years ago. And then last year, I'd start asking more questions because I finally got to the point where it's like, I'm done with this. I'm tired of it. I love working with kids. You know, it's like I've been a live-in nanny for these kids. Well, kids. The oldest is 38. I'm not, I'm like 9 years older than him. You know, I babysat. So I'm great with kids, so that's why I teach, you know, to make them smile and feel cared about. But I'm just tired of doing the same lesson over and over. And I have been for years. So I had some other business ideas that my cousin Brian's met her. Brian, you want to say your favorite line to Jason to just let him know a little about Angie?
Yeah, she's an ex-Cowboys cheerleader, so
yeah. So there you go. Yeah, he likes to always say she's an ex. And here's what I'll say:
I would work that in all the time.
Yeah, and when I go places with her, I like to think that some people look at me like going, "That guy, he's okay looking, but I mean, he's with her." Because for 49, I think it's or almost 49, a really solid, you know. But so I was just already thinking, oh, I'm going to leave and go do one of these other ideas that I had, or then Angie gave me an idea from a friend. And then I started talking to Brian more, and she was like, let's look into that, because she does pharmaceutical sales, but she likes to teach yoga on the side, and she's great at her pharmaceutical sales. Like she just switched over to Pfizer, like doing oncology. So she's like made it. That's like, I think, it sounds like top of the line if you're doing oncology for Pfizer, you know. But she's over the business thing for the most part. You know, she'd rather just teach yoga and blah, blah, blah. So then finally we went and met with Brian. And we went to some garage sales on a Friday.
Yeah, tell him about your first buy. Tell him about the first item I picked for you to.
Oh, a VCR that was like, right? It was that VCR or DVD? Yeah, VCR. Like $5, and it's worth like
$2.
$2, and it's worth like 60 or 50. Yeah,
Right.
something. I mean, even if it's 2 to 30, you know, it's a times 15.
But
So
when you think about it, I'm sorry, interject a little bit
okay.
more your story, but I'm kind of like Gary Vee in here, right? You know, thinking of people, how many people work for minimum wage, like $10 an hour, but
Yeah.
you go to a garage sale and make 50, $60 profit on a VCR by just getting a little bit of knowledge, being able to use your smartphone. I mean, I think Jason was alluding to this. My channel name is Texas Treasures. It's that finding those treasures, right? It's the thrill of the hunt.
Yeah.
But go ahead. I'm sorry.
So then I just started going to garage sales with him last summer. Like, I don't know, probably every 3 weeks, I'd either go south of Dallas where he lives and we'd work kind of towards Fort Worth, or he'd come up here and we'd go north, you know, because I live right near downtown Dallas. And so I started buying, and it's not like, I don't know, it was a few hundred, not even that, maybe, I don't know. And my cousin Angie just started giving me stuff, clothes that she didn't want anymore and other things, you know? And so finally it took me to list. It was Thanksgiving break, really, when I started listing. I had like 4 things listed because I liked buying. That's fun and feeling like I could get better. But, and Brian every day would get on me. And finally I started like listing, you know, whatever, and started like making money in December. And it's like, you know, in the last 90 days for me, I have here, let's see, like right now I have 250 active listings, and that's the most I've ever had. 59 have sold in the last 90 days for a little over 3,300. So I feel like I'm doing pretty good, and I've sold 1 thing a day on average in April, which is my most ever. And some of that I know is people are at home. I'm listing more. I believe in, like, as Brian talked about earlier, not karma, but like the secret, believe in momentum, baby steps, whatever you want to call it. So that's kind of the long, but that's the short version for me.
So what's your goal? So 9 months, obviously this is still fairly new. You're learning your craft. Congratulations, by the way. I mean, you're going to be going back to school when school opens back up? Is that?
We're probably not going back this year.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, our superintendent last week or something said, and all of he and I, like I said, are in different departments, but our 2 assistant principals are like, we're not going back because, you know, the CDC says mid-May and then we'd have a week. So that's why, like, now I've been like working on, I live in 491 square feet. So I don't have a lot of room. So I built this like shoe out of free USPS boxes. I got this idea from Rally Roots, who got it from Solange Mina, and this like shoebox wall of 130 shoe boxes that I like super over-engineered, but I'm able to put all these things, and I have some other things. So I've been organizing, listing. I didn't list but a few things today, but while Brian and I talked as he drove back from the auction, I like conditioned all the leather shoes, you know. So tomorrow I'm just going to sit there and like pictures first, then find them on eBay and list. And I got a bunch of cool old vintage ties from Angie from her grandpa. So like I said, I'm not always great at goals. I've always been a float through kind of, you know, and just like go with it. I've always made enough money at whatever job, teaching or working for dad or whatever. And I drive Uber part-time, you know, so that's helped provide more trips / marathon running trips, paying down some debt, you know, but yeah, I'm not always like, oh, so this week I'm trying to be like 15 listings a day on average. And I'm behind, you know, which is fine. But I stayed up late yesterday after I helped cousin with yard work and had to help my dad run an errand and blah, blah, blah. So it's like, it's fine. You know, I talked to my niece and nephew on FaceTime. That took time. But so I'm going to hit that goal. I'm going to hit whatever 7 times 15. What is that? 105 or something. Yeah. If it kills me, I'll get it done and keep rearranging the apartment. And so I'm trying to just learn like to do baby steps. Because even with marathon running, I have here is how I would say it. I have a great friend, a running coach. I haven't paid him because I don't really run now. But I would say, oh, I pay a coach to send me a plan, which I largely ignore. But in the 3 years that I used him, I went from a 355 runner to a 323 and technically qualified for Boston, but just didn't get to run it because I wasn't fast enough to earn a spot. And that was just because I'd be like, well, okay, I figured out, well, I don't like running alone and I run after school when I'm tired. So let's go to the Y and do the stair machine or walk at a steep incline, at least build your leg strength. And also for me mentally, I'm like going, running 26 miles, really? That's the hardest effing thing I have to do today? Run for 3.5 hours? Please. Because other parts of my life have not always been easy. So I'm trying to, you know, so that's just an example of like, I've tried to learn to work smarter, and Brian and I have learned each other, and he's learned like that if I get pushed too much, I don't like it. And I finally said that to him, and I appreciate it, and he knows it, but like it's the, you know, family stuff growing up. Like my dad owned his own business, super successful zoning consultant here. His dad was super successful, you know, so it's like all this push. So I guess my personality became the peacemaker in the family. I want everyone to be happy in the world, and like, and if I can just get by, I'm good. So I'm having to learn at 47 to like try to set some goals, and it helps that he keeps pushing that I have. And now he's one of my best friends. We text and talk all the time. So I'm trying to like, and watch Chris more and listen to you to be like, okay, 15, you know, because so I can kill the death pile in the next couple of weeks, you know?
Well, I think for you as a marathon runner, I mean, obviously you probably have a time that you want to hit for that marathon when you go into a race, but at least from what I know, and I haven't run a full marathon, I've run some smaller races like, you know, 7K, stuff like that.
Yeah, still the same idea though, yeah.
Yeah, for me, it was like, I know what I kind of wanted to get for the whole race, but for me, once again, it was those small baby goals. It was, where do I want to be after mile marker 1 or 2 or 3 or 5? You have to pace yourself. So I think you doing that right now with your reselling is perfect. It's really an analogy of your marathon.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And that's how like I'm trying, like today when I was doing shoes and yesterday Brian was organizing and he's like, you got a list, quit organizing. I'm like, yeah, but I live in a tiny apartment and it's killing I can't even relax and enjoy now that I have internet. And yes, I binge watch too much because TV is always one of my friends, you know, but so it's like, yeah, I'm trying to, like I said, babysit, because like with running, it did become where when my best races, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go and do this time. And I pretty much hit it. Like the next to last marathon I ran, when I ran that 3:23, sure, the goal was like a 3:20, because then I would have gotten a spot in Boston, you know, and gotten to run the race. Mm-hmm. But it's like, I just couldn't because I didn't train enough. But otherwise, when I signed up for the race, it was like, I'm going to hit that. So I would picture the clock literally, you know, and then I would start for me, be like going, what tank top am I going to wear? What socks am I going to wear? You know, like little things like that. To me, the whole, whatever it takes to get your mind right, you know, so that's where, like, hit the 15 deal. I'll work on this. I have a storage unit now. I moved all my hard goods down to. So I'm like, I was going to organize that this weekend, but it's not so many things that if someone buys something, I can go down there and find it, you know, in like 5 minutes. But it's like, I'm just trying to like learn to set more goals and hit it. My cousin Angie and I talk about that because I'm not like, I'll be late to stuff because I learned again from my dad. He's early. So then my reaction was, I'm going to be late to show you. You don't get to control everything. So some of my coping / learning mechanisms, I'm trying to flip, you know? So it's like, if you say 5 years, I couldn't tell you. I just want to be alive and happier, you know, and making more money, probably reselling, maybe doing something else even, you know, maybe you've adopted a kid, traveled some, no debt. Tired of that. But filling it in, yeah, that's what I'm trying to work on right now is how do I get to, you know, that.
I said something, it's funny, I was looking back at some old content I did because I was flipping through my phone the other day. I remember there was this little blip I did that I really liked, and it was at the end of a day, and there was something was going on in the reseller world, and like everybody was like losing their mind or something. And just, it was a lot of negativity. I talked to multiple people that day. It was the same thing. I can't remember what it was, but it was the same issue going on for everybody. And I basically said, don't worry about yesterday. Don't worry about today. just win tomorrow.
Well, I like
Basically,
that, yeah.
like, the past is the past. Your day is over. You had a crap day. Get your mind ready to just win tomorrow. And then tomorrow night, don't worry about yesterday. Don't worry about today. Just win tomorrow and repeat it. Basically, worry about what's coming up, what you can prepare tonight for tomorrow, mentally, physically, your staff, your situation, your setup for your warehouse or your prep station, or what you need to do. You need to hit those yard sales at 8 a.m. What do you need to do to get up in the morning to get ready and be out the door and be the first one there to crush it? So that's kind of my analogy. I wasn't like, let's talk about 5 years. There's nothing wrong with talking about that. But for me, worrying about tomorrow, the night before, it's kind of like being a teacher. You have to worry about what you're going to do.
Plans.
Yeah, you have to have your plans. It's the same thing.
Yeah, and a good book for anybody to read to go along with that, it's called The Power of Now. And it's that whole deal. I don't mind saying I go to therapy for some childhood crap, whatever, and family dynamics and stuff, and just who I am now, But it's like, and I've learned in therapy, our brain literally can't tell the difference between now and the past. Like for me, up near SMU, there used to be a Mrs. Baird's Bread, and you drive by it, and it was there when my dad was in college, like, oh God, 60 years ago, and you smell that bread and you think of Mrs. Baird's, sort of thing. So it triggers that memory. So it's like the book is, do what you can. Like I try now to even set out whatever I'm wearing to school the next day, the night before. I've tried to start telling myself tomorrow's going to be a good day no matter what, especially if I stay up late, which now it's only maybe midnight, but like, if I chose that, whether it's a coping mechanism or I'm just watching TV or I have a little cousin who's 20 that I've gotten to know, and we'll stay up texting, and she's off at college, just about whatever, this and her school. But I'm like, if I chose that, I have to choose that tomorrow's going to be a good day, and I try to tell my students that, like board is a choice, so baby steps. And not forget the past, but just give yourself credit. So I'm trying to do baby steps. Atomic Habits, a great focus.
What's up, Posh Man?
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Hey, Matt.
Not much. Clay's been making fun of my accent, so I didn't want to come on.
No, I love your accent. Yeah, I want to hear Jay and Matt. Y'all have great accents compared to me. I got nothing.
I don't have an accent. What are you on about?
Hey, Jay, can you say aluminum for me?
Aluminium.
I love that. That's the best. Our friend
he said
British at school. She knows that's my favorite. That or rubbish, or what do you call the trash can? The
rubbish bin.
Your rubbish. Okay,
yeah, but his sounds good though.
I drive my dad crazy because I watch so many Americans. I watch gaming streams and all that. So I purposely switch out the English for the American version, and it drives him nuts. He's in the garage, and I go, "What are you doing in the garage for?" "Don't you call it a garage? It's a garage."
Garage. I like that, garage.
I'm just gonna take the trash can out. No, you're not. You're taking the bin out.
I need to watch more. I've been watching a lot of BBC on Amazon Prime, but I need to start purposely using that. So if I go back to school next year, I'm like using all the British terms. It just confuse the kids,
Hey Matt, how's it been the past week since we talked? How's reselling and everything else going?
And Instacart every day or not?
Yeah, trying to. Reselling's been steady. I've not been listing. Kind of like flipping sloth. I didn't have a lot of stuff accumulated to list, and I've just been selling off what I've got listed. Sales are pretty steady though, but they're a little off, but not going to complain. I'm just ready to get back out there and source when all this goes away, but I'm not expecting it to be anytime soon, but I'm ready.
How's Instacart going?
Oh, today was terrible. Like Jason said, today was one of those days you just forget and say, I'm gonna do better tomorrow, man. I don't even want to think about it. Yesterday was really good, but today was, You live and learn.
You're like doing it though.
Yeah, I do. I guess I feel like I'm sourcing when I'm out.
Yeah.
You know, I guess that's my way of sourcing until I can get back to the Goodwills and thrift stores.
Yeah, because your couple videos you did on it, I liked, because you're like, okay, because like your first day and you're like, it's only X amount, but maybe it's that deal. Like a lot of people have so much stuff, more groceries than normal. That it was interesting. Your like mindset going, realizing that maybe, and like, hey, at least I made whatever. At one point you were at $58, and then you're like, well, for however many hours, you realized, oh, I was actually making a decent amount per hour for doing something that wasn't that hard.
Yeah, it gets me out of the house for a little bit,
Yeah.
And you get out, get some fresh air, get some sunshine, make a little bit of money, get your mind off stuff.
Yeah.
Come back home, spend some time with the family.
Yeah.
And get to make a video.
Yeah. Okay. That's good.
Jay, were you saying something, Jay?
Yeah, I was wondering what it was he was doing.
You want to explain Instacart?
Yeah, you want to explain that, Matt?
Yeah, actually, I placed an Instacart. Too bad you're not in Waxahachie, Texas. We had a big order because we got 5 people here right now. Got all the kids from college, or 2 of the 3 in college here. But anyway, Instacart it's a company where like Matt, I guess you'd be a contractor, right? So I will place an order online for groceries. Like today, I used Aldi's and HEB, and the contractor goes shop for your items, and they deliver them to you. Is the short version. And then they pay the contractor, plus there's a tip built in. And you know what? For a long time, I kind of resisted it. But here's the funny thing. I'm always trying to save money, but when we started using it, our grocery bill went down because I realized when I go to the grocery store, I impulse buy. I buy more than I need or things I don't need. So when you put it down and it stores like the items that you buy regularly, so it's pretty easy to go through there and just select them. And especially now with everything going on, I'm sure the number of people using it has really spiked. We've used it probably for about a year now.
So in the US, do you not have that built in with your actual stores? They don't offer that as a service?
No.
I think has Walmart maybe? Or have they just had the curbside pickup for a couple of years? They've had that for a couple of years, right?
Yeah, I think most places don't offer delivery for groceries, but I mean, that'd be good for grocery stores if they wanted to start doing it. It'd be a good business for them.
Yeah, I mean, in the UK, we've had it for like 15, 20 years. They have freezer vans, and you book a slot and you pay like £4 for the hour slot, and they bring it straight to your door, and it's good.
Okay.
We don't have tipping here either, so it's way cheaper.
Oh yeah,
we're moving over there.
Yeah,
Matt, how are people tipping? And if so, is it what you would hope for, or what?
Well, the way it works is, they kind of put their tip in, and whoever wants to accept that order can do it. It's not like they tip you once you drop it off. Now they can give you a cash tip if they want to. Yeah, and they can increase the tip or actually decrease it.
Oh,
within 3 days, which is crazy. But
so y'all
most people keep it the same.
So y'all actually see the tip amount before you accept it?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Interesting.
That's interesting. I didn't know that part.
So what happens if they order a load of stuff and it's not there in the shop?
Oh yeah.
They get mad and
that happens. That happens sometime, and you just have to refund them for that item, and that can affect the tip.
And that's crappy because it's not like me driving Uber, because sure, maybe you just didn't find it, but that.
So here's the thing, Clay, and so when you do it, like if something like they have an inventory system synced up, so if something is running low, it will give you an alternative. Would you like to replace it with this?
Okay.
Or even other options, so you can actually go through there. So me personally, I never get angry at anyone. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, nobody should.
Every person can't control that, obviously.
Because
if they don't have it at all, then I'm still not going to get upset. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if they don't have a Pepsi, you can get them a Coke. It's no big deal.
Yeah, like the other day, ketchup or something you were scanning and they didn't have it. Maybe you're saying that, as an example, but yeah, to take off or something, just, I don't know, that just, but I'm an over tipper. I believe, and especially right now, like I took Uber yesterday, wore a mask, wore a glove, it was like a 5-minute ride to go to my cousin's. We're splitting my car right now because her old drug company, she had to turn in that car, and since she's not in the field, Pfizer hasn't given her one yet. But I tipped the guy a huge amount because I drive Uber part-time. His business is like 25% of what it was, and he's a full-time guy. So I gave him, I think I gave him like $20 on a $4.50 ride because and then I told him about reselling too. I was like, go watch Rally Roots and Daily Refinement, and learn to do this. You got time right now, dude. So I just got used to on Uber. Most people don't tip, so if they do, it's great.
Yeah, most people are fairly nice, in general. Yeah.
Well, at least you're making some, like you said, and getting out.
Yeah. I'm learning something new that I can always fall back on a little bit if I need to.
Yeah. You can go make money every day doing it.
You got any Facebook Marketplace or any type of flips online?
No, I really don't do that much. I know it's a good option, but just me, eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, a few other websites, Depop, a few sneaker apps, but that's it for me. I like to go actually in person and find the stuff. I like the thrill of it.
You should look at Facebook Marketplace. Like I've stopped just because, like, for me at least, I feel crappy if they say stay at home. I'm like, I'm trying to stay at home. I'm like, sure, I'm gonna go to my storage unit, but nobody's there. If they are, I pass them, while they unload. But Brian's picked up stuff about 3 weeks ago.
TV behind me.
Yeah.
Free on Facebook Marketplace.
3 weeks ago, I got like a stereo system
for free
for like
for $100 today.
Yeah, I got a stereo for 20 that'll sell for 60. I got a printer and a vacuum, and the printer they were both free, and the printer will sell for like 50 to 80, and then the vacuum I haven't looked up, but I'm like, even if it's 20, and then I went in and picked up a couple board games for $10, and one of them is the Clue up there or whatever. And I mean, so it's like, and those will bring me like 45 off of 10. So I'm like, and I wrote off the miles, so you might look into and type in free to start, you can do a search range for how far you're willing to go.
Yeah, there's definitely no excuse if somebody wants inventory to resell. I mean, there's, like y'all said, online arbitrage. You can go to Walmart now, Target, those types of store. I went to Target today just to look around, but I didn't pick anything up. Yeah, there's all types. My theory is I was just going to ride it out till it's over with, and then trying to, figure out exactly what route I want to go. And I want to go out, when it's all over with, just go out 1 or 2 days, buy 7,500 items, come back, kind of stay home, list it, then go back out. I was going out all the time, and I found out I bought a lot of stuff I didn't need.
Just crap.
Spending more time and money than I needed to. Yeah. You stay out there too long, you're going to buy too much stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe just get a couple niches and stick with those.
Well, and I think all of us, like, as the more we do it, you get more experience. Like, things I bought 6 months ago, some of that stuff I wouldn't buy today. It's just, there's just a learning curve to it. There's nothing wrong with it.
Some of my stuff that's selling now is the stuff that I would never pick up anymore.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff I picked up 6 months ago that I look at every time I go in there and go, that's never going to sell. Why is that still even here? It's selling now. So it's nice to get my money back on that stuff. But
I should go back now. It makes me want to go back and watch some of your older videos and try to figure out what did he buy at the car boot. Jason, do you know Matt, do you know what a car boot is?
No, I
Yes.
don't.
A car boot where you illegally park and they put a boot on your tire?
That sounds good.
Oh,
That's one
I
of them.
personally have never had one, thank God, but I do know what they are.
Yeah, in the U.S. that would be a car boot. You're right, Jay. You want to tell them what the car boot is?
The car, well, your vehicles, as you call it, vehicles, you call them in America, have trunks, right? That you put the stuff in. Ours are called a car boot. So your flea market is our car boot sale. So we turn up in a car, open the boot, get the table out, sell it straight from the table. So it's called a car boot sale.
okay.
Yeah, and there's one like that Jay's gone to at least a good number of times in his videos where, are you wearing a GoPro or something? Because you don't see anything except his hands. And
it's a GoPro 5, and it's the worst piece of trash. I would never. If you're gonna get a GoPro, get one that has decent my stabilization. It looks like I'm on a boat. It's like ooh, up and down.
I guess I don't notice that. Huh.
It's dreadful. You need to get the newer one, but yeah, it's a GoPro. And
yeah,
it's a good time to sell it now. People are buying anything, including crap.
Yeah, now you can upgrade.
What are people going to be filming now? I don't even want to think what they'd be filming right now on a shaky GoPro 5. But I need to upgrade it. But yeah, this specific one's not far away. I can get there on the bus, and it's every Sunday.
Yeah,
well, it's every Sunday, but
find good stuff. I remember at one you went up to some guy, and I don't know if it was like, I don't think it was Legos, but he had a whole box of
it was
little things.
It was a box full of Mario figures.
Yeah,
like
you made
Nintendo figures.
Yeah,
and, they were resellers as well, but they only do car boot stuff. So I've bought stuff from them before, and I don't know whether they just don't know what they're doing or what they have. But I was like, how much for the whole tub? And he was like, oh, I don't know. My wife's gone to the toilet. She'll be back.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I'll give you £10 for the whole tub. And there was I think there was 150 little Nintendo Mario toys in there.
So many.
And he was like, oh, I can't take 10. She's going to kill me if I take 10. I was like, and he was like, you can wait until she comes back and she'll give you a price. And I was thinking in my head, there's no way I'm going to wait for her to come back, because if she comes back, she's going to want ridiculous money. She obviously knows what this is worth. So I was like, I'll give you 15 now because I've got to leave. And he was like, oh, and the kids there, look at the little kids looking at
yeah, Dad. That's right.
Like, don't sell this, Dad. You're in so much trouble if you sell this. Do not sell it. And he's like, yeah, I'll take the 15. So I just dump it in my bag and I walk off, and I'm like, yes, jackpot. And they were £10 each, and there's 150 of them in there.
Yeah, that's going to turn out to be a good profit for.
Yeah, and they're selling right now, so it's good.
Okay, good. Yeah, and the kids' reaction in the video was good.
What jumble trail. I've actually never been on a jumble trail.
What is a jumble trail?
What is that?
I think a jumble trail is your yard and garage sales.
Okay.
But it's like a little area, a village or a town. They organize a specific day, and then they plot it out on a map and stuff, and you can go around it. There's never been any around here that I've seen, but I know that some other UK people get them, and they'll have 70 houses that will have.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian and I, there was some around here in these smaller towns that were set up for this month and next month that I found on Facebook. And those, of course, are canceled. And then next year, Brian and I want to go to this one in Georgia that's 100 or 200 miles long or something like that, and it's just all these people on the side of the road,
That's cool.
And Iowa has
North Carolina, maybe.
Say again?
I think that one goes all the way from Georgia to North Carolina.
Does it? That's insane.
Maybe it's a different one, but they definitely have it.
Yeah, because Brian and I have been strategizing recently, going, okay, so we rent a van, and it costs this much, but it's a work trip, so we're going to write off everything. Now I'm thinking, Brian, going, okay, well, would one of us get the van, the other pays for the hotel, whatever. So we're going, yeah, you could come back with a van just full of so much crap that then
no crap, this stuff.
Well, you know what I mean. I didn't say crap meaning stuff, not crap, just good crap.
You should do a show where you hire an RV for like a month.
Oh.
And you just take it like across the whole country, or however, I don't know how far you guys can go.
Paper and pen.
And just make videos, live streams. That'd be sick.
I like that.
It's good. We pull out the GoPros. You're talking about GoPros, Jay, and I bought one to start doing garage sale videos. And the last garage sale we went to before we got shut down, we were able to use it, and now this GoPro. And like you said, what am I going to use it for now? But
yeah, see, when I started the YouTube thing, I made the mistake of being stingy, and I spent like 3 days on YouTube watching these like camera reviews. And I tell you what, I don't know whether they get paid or whatever they do for these cameras, but they're like, get this camera. I can't remember what it was called now. It was like some cheap version of a GoPro, and like they show this footage and it looks amazing. And then I get this thing and it's like only like 20 quid cheaper than the one that I have now, and it's so bad. Like it's literally unusable. So I was like, right, I'm gonna send it back, because I got it from Amazon. So I shipped it back as faulty, got my money back, got the one that I have now, the 5, which is usable. It actually looks decent. It's just shaky. And then it was Kevin. He did that video where he went up to some garage sale and bought some stuff, and I was looking at his footage and I was like, is he using a gimbal or something? Because it was silky, and it was just the software on the inside of the newer one. I was like, that is insane. So I'm gonna have to just bite the bullet when this stuff ends and get the new one, because it makes me feel sick even editing the footage. It's like, oh, I feel like I'm on a ship.
See, I want you to make a video now of you editing and cursing, being pissed off at like that you have at the footage or whatever.
There was also a problem I had with the file that came out of this thing was not compatible with the editing software. So I'd have to like render it like on a different software to then import it into the. Oh, it was awful.
Yeah, Brian, you could just wear yours to do chores, I guess, or something, you know.
Clean up dog poop.
You should have worn it to like driving to, you know, like to the auction.
Doing a short video of the estate, not the estate, the auction I picked up.
Okay.
Like, man.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good little haul, though. Yeah, those online auctions are a viable place to source right now.
So Jason, you've been listing mostly on eBay right now, the death pile, or is it eBay and Amazon? And what is the difference between FBA and merchant? Is merchant meaning like I buy a phone and you have a phone in stock you're sending me? I admit, since I don't do it, I kind of know, but not really, you know, and I don't care enough until I try it.
It's simple. I mean, I have a lot of people that sell on Amazon just FBA. They've never merchant fulfilled. And of course, they've been doing eBay for a decade. And they're like, I don't know how to do merchant fulfilled. I'm like, merchant fulfilled is eBay. It's the same thing.
That's what I thought.
It's the same thing. You get an order, it says ship it, you click it, you put in the dimensions, the weight, out the door. It's literally the same thing. So merchant fulfill on Amazon, if it makes sense. Now, of course, make sure you have proper receipts or documentation in case you get an inauthentic claim or whatever, because you know that's the world we live in with Amazon. So no, doing both. There are some things that I will double dip and sell on eBay and merchant fulfill, or eBay and FBA at the same time. Not very often. It's more situational. Usually eBay is just for things that I don't want on Amazon, or there's no listing, or restricted, or broken, or whatever. There's a reason why I don't have it on Amazon.
Yeah.
It's usually to cover my butt or something, or maybe I don't. You know, maybe I got it somewhere where there's no receipt. Maybe it was a pallet or something without a manifest. You know, just try to cover your butt. So
right now you're mostly doing eBay, though. Is that the death pile that as you work these last few weeks?
I mean, what I've been doing in the last month, yes. But I mean, I've got 10,000 items or something at Amazon. I mean, I have a lot of, I got 1,500 SKUs, or I don't know what it's at.
Yeah.
SKUs. So it's still both, but being mostly wholesale now, I have a lot of replens.
Yeah.
So I got a bin system with about, I don't know, 270 bins or something where I've got my replens.
Yeah.
Once a week I'll go in and I'll look at the restock report and a couple other things, and I'll make that call and I'll throw it in a shipment, and out the door it goes, and place a whole order. So yeah, and in the meantime, it's just list all day, and I've only been doing that for about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But it's hard and fast, and the sales have been great.
And you list just on eBay? Is it any and everything, or is it?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't judge. It's a transaction to me. I just want to. I have it. I can make money on it. I want it gone. I don't care if I make $2, $5. I just don't want it. And if somebody's gonna pay me for it, get it out of here.
Yeah.
I've got a box of 300 decent branded bras with tags in them that I've had for a year and a half, that I got from some store closeouts or some restricted brands, things like that. I mean, there's after sales, there's probably, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 grand in actual cash that'll come back after fees.
Wow, nice.
I'm pushing that aside because I'm trying to get other things out of the way, bigger things that kind of space, more expensive things. And then as the death pile starts to shrink and there's a little bit more room to work with, then I'll set up the mannequin. And it's kind of a thing. You don't want to go from, I'm going to sell video games, and I'm going to sell a bra, and I got to stick it on a thing, and I'm going to sell a little doodad, and then I'm going to go back to a bra. It's like you kind of want to, I'll do shoes all day long. I'm going to do 20 pairs of shoes today, because you're in that cycle, and you got your light box, and you got your cleaning supplies if they got little on them. So you want to kind of do what's most efficient for you. So do all the shoes, and then I'll do all the bras, or I'll do all the knickknacks, or it'll be junk day, just literally whatever I can grab. Just doodad day.
Okay, a couple other questions. When you say mannequin, and I know there all sorts of different people think different things on this, and that's great. Do you have full mannequin with arms, or just the form? Do you think it matters? Is it worth it? I have just.
You're looking at it. He's right here. No, I'm kidding. One of the things like I said, we do a lot of store closings. That's our niche for the last 4 years. So we buy out stores as end buyers. We get a lot of fixtures and things like that. So we've got
all of them,
more mannequins than we know what to do with. So it takes time. It just depends. I think using stock photo, or depending on what it is, it just depends. Some people are very adamant about, if they're selling apparel or shoes, the pictures need to be perfect. And yes, do I think you'll convert better? Yeah, of course. Over the long haul, you definitely will convert better for sure. But I've got 2,000 items, and I want them gone. I'm not giving them away for free, but trust me, I can take in my light box and put a pair of shoes on a box or a jewelry display stand, and I could snap 4 or 5 photos in 35 seconds, upload them to my thing, and the listing is done in 4 minutes, and move on to the next one. So for me, since I have a lot of volume of product, I want to have a lot of volume of listings. For other people who have a little bit more couture, more expensive products, particularly women's shoes and designer wear, yes, I think you should probably use a mannequin, whether it's pants or tops or hats or jackets, and go from there, because I think we'd probably all agree, gentlemen, women are probably a little bit more picky than men, and that's fine, So, I'm just saying is, what's your goal? Is your goal to get it all out as quickly as possible? I think I can probably outlist 3 to 1 that person taking really good photos, and I could probably make 10% less, but list 3 times as much and sell 3 times as fast. So it really depends on how you want to attack it. For me, I got way too much volume, and this is a good time for me to crank it out. So just crank it out.
And then on your shoes, because I've got a whatever it is, Helix or whatever, or I can't remember, Havoc. There you go. The light box that Brian had, I went for that back in November. I upgraded from an old SE to the 11 recently, to get better pictures. But Brian and I talk about this, the whole well, should we make the do the white background, like, you know, take the background out, like on Photo Fuse, at least on the first picture on every item, whether it's shoes or whatever, or do you save that time and, you know, versus just, you know, it's already pretty good in the light box compared to if I use this black plastic card table, you know, or whatever. So do you mess with, or do you just?
My answer is if you have the time to do it, do it. If you
Okay.
But also there's a caveat to that. You may have the time to do that extra step or two, and like I said, volume of listings over time, yeah, you will definitely convert better.
Yeah.
Whether 10% better, whatever that number may be. But if I can list 50 or let's say an average of 25 items a day of the same thing that you can only list half,
yeah,
that frees up that time for me to do what? Manage my business, source, do my paperwork, manage employees, find OA, do more flips. How much time did I waste doing that I could have been productive in another area, whether personal time or on the business side. So for me, I'll take a little bit less to free up 50% of my time for mental sanity and to move on to other opportunities. So it really is up to you.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying, because I just ask, you know, because it's like Brian and I talked about, like with Chris, it's like people who are pumping out way more. It's not like I'll do what, I'm going to do whatever I want to do, but it's still like learning, like, is it worth on certain things? Like I inherited these when my dad, unfortunately, and stepmom got a divorce, but in his storage unit, some of her crap ended up in there. And one was a box that said Goodwill. So it was going to go to Goodwill, and it was Christian Louis Vuitton, and I can't even think of all these other shoes that some I've lowered down to 150, or I've lowered from 100 to 60. And I'll even take an offer at 40 now, because I'm like, I paid $0, you know. So on that, I'm like, well, yeah, for sure. I want to use the app to take the background and make it perfectly white on most of them, because it's $150 shoe, you know, or whatever, versus some other things. I'm like, yeah, maybe I should just like throw it in the light box and get the good pictures. And if it's especially a sell similar, all I got to change is shoe size, you know, like a few things that I can be done in, like you said, 4 minutes, versus going to the other app. It might just be extra 2 minutes, but you know, Chris is like, I can use that 2 minutes to pee 5 times in one day. Not really.
I would say if it's a premium product, take premium photos. If it's not, snap and go.
Okay.
Your time is worth much more than the extra $1 or $2 you might make. But if you've got extra time in your hands, go for it. If you don't want to use that time for other things.
We were talking about that today. That question came up about processing. Chris pulled out his Excel sheet, but basically, one of the Patreon members was considering hiring someone to do some listing, and he was wanting to pay like $3 per listing flat rate. And Chris pulled up a spreadsheet, and basically he said whether it's you or someone else, that he went through everything. He broke it down by seconds, and it's like $5 to $6 is the cost for you to list an item, on average. You know, when you break it down through the process. So you've got to keep that in the back of your mind when you're listing things. So I mean that comes down to sourcing too. Like you don't want to be sourcing $5 to $10 items. You don't want to make that because if you bought an item that sells for 10, but at your time it costs you $5 or $6.
Yeah.
By the time you take out fees, you're not making hardly anything.
Well, I mean, why do people have big death piles, and why do they accumulate? I think most of us either had one or have one, or you know, because it takes time. It always comes at a time. I mean, it's not like, well, has anybody ever told you, well, my death pile is only 2 SKUs and I have 1,000 of each of them? That's not a death pile. That's 2 wholesale SKUs, right? That's 2 listings done, replan, you're done. That's not a death pile. It's a pile of mishmash. Yeah, maybe you have 2 or 3 of this, 4 of that, and a ton of onesies, and it takes time. And you're looking at it, you're like, yeah, I'm not really feeling that, because it takes time. So for me, I'm like, if I'm going to get in there, bang, 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 go. Oh, there's something very nice. I'll take an extra 2 minutes. Still set it up a little better, whatever. Boom. Now back to the regular $10, $20 crap. Bang, 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 out. Why? Because I want them up. I want them out. I want them out of my face. Give me the money. Give me the space. Let's get on with my life. I got other things to do.
So you just like flat lay clothes usually if you do clothes on like eBay?
Yeah. I mean, if it's closed, I mean, it depends on what it is. I do use some stock photos. I mean, if it's new with tags, obviously. I know some people will never do that because they're worried about copyright infringement and things like that. I think on eBay, that's a very, very minimal chance that will happen.
Okay.
So I'll take the risk. I have a lawyer. I'll take the risk. So, but flat close is fine. Let's put it this way. If somebody is really interested in that item,
they're going to buy it.
They will message you back and they'll say, hey, can you give me some different pictures? Can you measure it? You know, whatever. I had that happen today. I actually sold a snow jacket for a youth. A snow jacket new with tags that I had probably bought 2 years ago, was probably returned at some point. It's brand new still. And it went into a winter apparel box that got moved from one house to the next and from one warehouse to, another place. So I had it up for 10 days. I took some so photos. I didn't break out the mannequin for it because I was just in my zone. And it's basically $100 jacket. I think it was $110 retail. And I think I put it up $36 free shipping because, one, I probably paid $30 for it 2 years ago, maybe 25.
Yeah.
Two, I just don't care. I want it gone, and it's off season. And I know some people are out there still skiing. I know it's still cold in some places. But I just wanted it gone, and she messaged me back and said, "Hey, is it this, that? Can you do a quick measurement?" Sure, no problem. I did the measurement. I confirmed the 4 questions he had in about 4 minutes. Buy it now, boom, it's in the bucket, and I have to go pack it tonight. So, if people want something, they'll do it.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I looked for that item. It wasn't up for sale. So for me, I don't have to overhype it, make it perfect because I'm the only one with it. Now, if it's something unique, it's not unique. It's just happened to be a specific color way of that type of jacket. There was same of those jackets in black and different ones. Mine was a different color. So it wasn't up for sale. So if they like that, they're going to either buy it or ask me an extra question. So I didn't feel the need to take the time to have to set it up and do that whole thing and bust out the measurements, particularly since it's kind of off season at this point. We're getting there.
Yeah.
I have one question before I go. Obviously, I'm in the UK, so our shipping's different on eBay. I can ship pretty much anything at like a flat rate cost, depending on its size and weight, anywhere within the UK. And then obviously, if it's going to Europe, any country within the EU, it costs the same, depending again on size and weight. How does that work for you in America? Because I know if you send from like East to West Coast, it's different to like the next state over. How do you list that on eBay? Is there like a button that just predicts their cost of shipping depending on their location? Or
Yeah.
You can either select calculated shipping or flat rate. Calculated, it's based on their address, their zip code, and it factors in the distance. But if you're selling a lot of the same things like shoes, like I know most shoes, like I have different price points. I'm mostly flat rate shipping now, like $9.95, $12.95, $14.95, and building in a little bit of profit in that shipping. But yeah, I guess to answer your question, if you wanted to just be exact, you would just use calculated, and we'll calculate the exact amount. But the more you sell items, you begin to get a feel for what the weights are and how much it's going to cost.
Okay. Because that's what it's like for me. Like I can pick up an item and I'll know instantly with its size and weight how much that's going to cost. And then obviously I add extra on for like packing material and that. But I think people in the UK, they're savvy to shipping costs as well. Like they'll send, if your price is like it's going to cost £3 with Royal Mail to ship it, and you've got it up for like $4.50, they'll send you a message like, "Can you take off £1.50 for the shipping because you're charging too much?" Like I've had that before. It's like, no, because I'm charging for what is coming. Like I can ship your plate in a bag to you if you want. It's going to come in different pieces, or I can put it in this nice box with some packing material for an extra £1.50, and you'll get it perfectly fine. I mean, which do you want? And then they just don't. They're just like, okay.
I like that.
It's like
they always look at the shipping, but they never look at the handling. They don't know you have staff, or it takes time. Of course, you got to go get your supplies. You know, it's a business, and a lot of people don't look at it that way. And I understand.
I had a message from one woman the other day. She was like, "I sent a DVD to my daughter, and it cost me £1.50. Why are you trying to charge me £2.50 for the same size thing?" And I was like, "Okay, like what?" Because that's how much it costs me to do the same. Like, I have fees.
I know a lot of resellers, Jay, that will just go straight up and say, you know, I have employees and we have a processor that we pay per item to pack and ship that. So I have to pay to have your item picked. So that dollar difference is paying the person to process that. So, and usually I don't hear back, because it's not like, you're basically saying is, hey, I'm not making $1. It's going to process that properly to get it to you. Yeah. So whether that's true or not, but
I like that, because I could even say that now that I have a storage unit 10 minutes away. Well, I'm the employee that's going to go get it, whether I'm teaching next year and I can go on the way to school or on the way home. Because Brian, a few months ago, had to get on me about, like, dude, like, it's fine if you want to keep doing calculated, but what I started doing was like on the weight or because I like, and Brian will shake his head, I like to pack as I list. It takes up more space, but now I got a cheap storage unit, and I like to, for peace of mind, to know that the measurements are done, it's packed up. You know, it's not shoes and clothes that I can go get real easy and pack, but I've started to like bump the inches by 1 or 2. The weight a few ounces to, like, that's the handling, you know, whatever, to make sure that I'm getting that back. You know, it's like I use a lot of the free USPS. My mom and my cousin keep giving me boxes out the wazoo. You know, before this all happened, my dad lives in a high rise, and when I would walk his trash to the trash room, there's like 10 people on each floor in a really nice building, so they're buying crap all the time, and I would just start taking boxes home. I take his newspaper home to use as packing material, you know, after you put your thing in a poly bag, so in case the box gets rained on. But yeah, I've had to learn the shipping deal. Well, Jay, are you going to go to bed now that it's 3:30 a.m. or something?
It is 3:30.
Yeah.
I got a notification on my phone the other day from Google, and it said, hang on, let me get the picture up so I don't read it wrong. Like, I was just sat there minding my own business, not thinking about pizza or anything, and I get this notification on my phone from Google Maps. And this was a week ago during lockdown, where no restaurants are open, you can't go out for dinner, and it says, "What's for dinner? Check out places to eat and drink tonight." And I'm just sat there like, Google, really? You're gonna push a notification to me talking about where you're gonna eat out tonight when we're in full lockdown? And
Did you order something that night, though, is the question, because of
No, I'm not ordering anything, man. I'm not having someone cough on my food.
I hadn't thought of that. Thanks.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's been careful taking the pizza out of the box, but I mean, they've handled that. They've cooked it, so
yeah,
they've taken it out of the oven at the other end.
Huh. Yeah. Dang, we had pizza delivered tonight.
Yeah. No thanks.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Anytime.
Jay's channel, Flipping Sloth. Make sure you subscribe. He's got some good content.
Hopefully, some more content soon. Whether this goes on for however long, I don't know.
And with a new GoPro.
Yeah. You'll probably start seeing some weird videos of me like walking around my house doing some stuff soon if I go that crazy. But
you're buying stuff from your dad and his room.
I would like purchase stuff off myself, like
and out of the garage.
Yeah, the garage.
You do a good American accent there.
The vehicle.
Yeah.
And some car boot videos. Is it car boot or car boot?
Car boot sale.
Okay.
Yeah, you can watch him later, Matt. Yeah. Okay. Well, sleep good, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks, dude.
How do I leave?
Do you see at the bottom? It says,
I can get out if you're ready.
Brian.
Cheers.
Have a good night, Jay.
but
yeah, I didn't realize. I forgot the time change. Like going, crap, 3:30. Yeah,
Wow.
it was a trooper to stay up for us.
There's a trooper.
He's usually on like the first. We'll notice him in the comments, like the first 30 minutes or something, because it's already 1 a.m. when we start. Or the first couple of shows we started at what, like 5:30 or something, I guess.
Yeah, we started a little earlier, so probably early.
Realize it's better to start later. Yeah.
Hey Brian, how long have you guys had this channel?
Since like September. Yeah, since about September. I just basically said, you know, it's more kind of just documenting things, and if give it what happens. And what we found out, we've talked about this, Clay and I, we make some videos, but the live shows, we really enjoy the live shows, and you know, you build some friendships over time. And we're in a couple of reselling Facebook groups. We're messaging some of the guys here, and you know, it's just fun to come on here, talk reselling and talk pizza and whatever else. And
that's why, as Brian knows, I like to ask everybody, where do you live, and like get to know them, because I'm like, if I'm gonna have like friends from high school on my Facebook that, no offense, I don't really give a crap about, you know, I just assume if I'm going to get to know some of these people, because in my head I'm like going, well, at some point I'll probably go visit Scott in Sacramento, because I can source. There's one of the better marathons is in Sacramento, so it's like 3 birds, 1 stone. You know, why wouldn't I go meet him if I get to know him? So yeah, I had a different wacky channel in the fall that my students were watching, because I was like, I've got a built-in audience. And then the school didn't like that, you know, that I would give them, I admit, I was like, hey, if you watch the channel, I'll give you candy. Well, they wanted to, a lot of them were going to watch me because they wanted to, I'm weird in class. I dance and tell lame jokes. So then they didn't like that. So I took that down, and I started this, I don't know, probably in like October or something, you know. And then he came to me and was like, hey, you want to do a live deal? And I'm like, I guess, you know. And now, what, 10, 11 episodes later, I'm like, oh, Thursday night, sweet, you know. Yeah, I look forward to this now.
I mean, we learn a lot. Like, and Jason, you brought a lot of knowledge tonight. We appreciate it. So it's just good getting different perspectives. I think everyone has something, some nugget that they can share. It's just good to hear people's stories, and you know, take what you can from what you hear.
Yeah, one thing I know is, I don't care how big you get in your reselling game, you can learn from the newest of new people. Like, you have to keep your mind open. There's people know a lot more about things that you've never seen, never heard, particularly if you're picking and doing things like that. There's just unlimited things out there, and it's nice to share and to receive those polos and those tips and tricks, and I love it. I absolutely love it. You know, that's why you have to network. You know, I know some people, they don't like to network, and that's fine. You know, maybe that's a social thing, but yeah, it's great to talk to people. And like you said, perspective is important, because sometimes you're right, but the perspective is maybe you should have done something a little different. You know, perspective is important.
Oh, here's a question I keep thinking about it, but then one of us talking. How do you find those store closeouts, or at first? Now I can imagine it's, you know, you've made contacts, blah, 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 in a retail strip center or whatever it is. But how did you get into that game?
Oh, I mean, well, first thing is not every store closing is public.
Yeah.
Please understand, a lot of these companies are still publicly traded companies, and to announce even 5 stores closing may have a detrimental effect on their stock price, because it may be showing that it's the start of something really bad that's coming down the line in the next 12 to 24 months.
Yeah.
So obviously, you know, Toys R Us, everybody knows Toys R Us, everybody knew it was going out of business. You know, those are no-brainers, but it's a lot of research. I put a lot of time in there, a lot of contacts. It's something I've done for 4 years and have grown. You know, I like to say that I'm a minor expert in the field to some degree. there's definitely more that I need to learn. I'm always networking with my contacts in the industry. I think my dog just walked by. I saw a dog in the hall there. That was one of my contacts, but wondering where she was. So yeah, it's it's one of the. But here's the thing, though. It's an industry where there's definitely opportunity there, clearly, but it's the information and the strategy that you use that will really maximize a potential return, whether it's one store or a couple of stores. Anybody knows that Kmart's are closing, or a lot of them, and that's fine. Any person can go in there and Reseller, if it's 70% off, scan everything in the store and find some gems or some winners, and that's a no-brainer. You go home, you're like, hey, I'll make 50 or $100 or something. For me, it's different. It's a multi-year effort. Realize it's not how much I make in a store, it's how much that I leave in the store. So for me, you may go in and find $100 in value, I might find 1,000. There's a lot of effort and work into that. There's a lot of strategies. For one, just finding them. I am very good at what I do in that space. Even for me, it can be nearly impossible to find certain pieces of information. I use some proprietary software that helps me in the industry that I've contracted out in the last year that I've actually never announced until now. But just because you brought it up, but it's very, it's hard. It's hard. It put a significant amount of time in there. So I would definitely, even with my experience, there's so many more that I would not do than I would. Because depending on where you're at, let's say you're in a rural area or something, let's say, Toys R Us is going out of business and you live in Wyoming, there might not be any Toys R Us. So what do you got to do? Well, you have to hit the road. What does that look like? Can you even get away from your house, your family, your obligations, your job, your pets? Maybe you have medical condition. It's just not good to do that. Do you need staff, hotels, transportation, gas, insurance? For me, to put a team of 2 on the road, it costs me on average about $550 a day just to be in the game. They fly out, hotels, gas, insurance, meals, supplies, hotels. I mean, it just adds up. So, but I do it at a higher level, so if you live in California or something, a bigger state with a lot of retail, Texas is another good spot, where if something goes out, maybe you can go from Dallas, which I spent significant amount of time in the last couple of years, by the way, Clay, and for many opportunities, closing and RA, but some people can drive an hour away and they can go in that circumference and go, yeah, I can go 2 hours out and go check it out, no problem. And that's great, and you should check it out. But to go in there and just to scan and grab things is one thing, but it's a lot deeper. It's just like, it's kind of like private label. Anybody can go on and say, okay, I'm gonna go make a hairbrush or something. I'm gonna go to AliExpress or Alibaba and say, okay, can you make this but in a different color and throw it up, and maybe you'll make a few bucks and maybe it'll do well. I have no idea, but there's more out there and you can do a lot better. There's a lot of things that people don't realize that you can do well in the industry, but it really is information based. It's data based. I've had some people say, well, any idiot can make money at Toys R Us going out of business. Well, yeah, of course, because at some point, it's a major retail store. They have 100,000 items in their store. Yeah, at some point, there's going to be some profit in there when they're going down. But understand that most people might go in there once and do what they got to do, or go on the last day or something. There's stores that we will go to up to 3 times in a cycle, even out of town. It just really depends on what it is. So getting the data first is really the hard part. And then once you have the data of the stores closing or timelines and different things, then you have to vet to see if it's even worth going. Because maybe you're going to go out there and make $200 a store, but your costs are $400. It's not worth it. And particularly if you have a reseller business in your home, you're like, well, if I leave, my reseller business is going to drop off because I'm not buying, picking, and selling. So I'm like, if I'm making $200 a day here, from the comfort of my home, why would I go out on the road and on in the middle of nowhere and staying in crappy hotels sometimes because you have no options to make the same amount. You won't. You shouldn't, unless you just want to get on a roadie, of course, and just get out of Dodge. So it's really data. It's data. That's the most important part. But once you have that data, really the level of experience just grows over time that you can turn a store that might bring me $200 into $600 on average. So luckily for us that we were able to do that, and it's fun, and it takes a lot of the risk out of it too. So buying out 500 items or 1,000 items at 83% off of retail, my risk is pretty much out the door at that point. Yeah, some will go restricted, or you'll have some issues and you'll have to move that to eBay or something, or whatever. But you have to run the numbers. So for me, I do a lot of research on the locations. We'll fly out to chains, literally to go there and to hit a couple stores just to scan hundreds of items to see exactly what they have in their stores, what brands do they have, what other things they have in their store, to see if it's even worth it. There's money in every store, but sometimes it's not worth it depending on your cost. So for me, it's all about the research and putting an effective plan. And then again, logistics. Logistics plays a huge part in it. You're going to go out and do 4 or 5 or 6 in 2 or 3 or 10 states. Time and logistics is super important, because you don't want to go out and spend a week on the road and spend thousands of dollars of overhead and hit 7 stores when you could have hit 12 in the same time, because you really don't know what the hell you're doing routing it out, and you're up too late. Like, you have to be prepared. Like, if your store opens at 9 and you're 2 hours away, well, guess who's getting up at the hotel at 6 a.m. and who's on the road at 7, and your supplies are ready to go. So you want to be there when the store opens. You want to hit it hard. You want to get back in the truck, and you want to get your ass back on the road, because there's probably another store an hour or 2 hours away. So you work hard when you're there, and then you get to sit in and sink in the highway going 80 miles an hour and catch your breath for an hour or two to get to the next one and figure out, what you found there, and can you do anything better, or go from there, and certain things you found at that store that maybe you didn't find at a couple stores before that, and use that information for the next store. So,
Brian, something else, another model for us in the future. Way down the line.
I think most people wouldn't really go on the road because
because this is what you're doing is a bigger. It's not to say it's just a lot more to it. If I'm going on the road, it'd be like I'm going to go to Austin to see friends and thrift at a bunch of places. Sure, I can thrift here, but I'm going to combine the short road trip.
That's a great excuse. Make a vacation or friends at the same time.
I was going to go to my cousin. Phoebe was she's still going to South Alabama, just from here in the suburbs of Dallas now. But I was going to either go this week, because we have our stupid standardized test this week, or some of them were. So I was like, that's perfect days to take off instead of staring at kids take tests. And I was going to map it out and be like, okay, Shreveport, leave after school one day and be like, I can get to Shreveport in a few hours, stay there and source before I go to bed, so I can ride that off. And then I was going to map it all the way to, I think it's in Mobile. And if I didn't go this weekend, I was going to go to graduation next month. So I'm like, well, that's not obviously happening. But I was like, that was going to be my first, hey, this will be awesome. I can pay it right off, the whole trip. And I get to see, one of my 2 favorite cousins or whatever, see where she was going to school and all that. But
just kind of thinking about it, because I do kind of think how can I take it to the next level. And Clay and I were talking, and I think Mike kind of does this, and some others do this, buying out estate sales. And it's kind of, buying out a store closing would be similar. I mean, obviously there's a lot more to it, I'm sure, but it's the same concept. It's just bigger in scale. Like, you're wanting to buy a lot of merchandise because you're buying it in bulk. You're able to get it at a cheaper price. You just got to calculate that. So I think and that's why I was talking to Clay. I think that's kind of maybe in the storage units too. I've started doing the storage units, estate sales, maybe build up the capital to be able to buy out an entire estate sale. But then it's kind of like what then you got the space. Do you need to rent a storage unit yourself? You need a warehouse. Do you have the transportation to get it there? You need to hire people, to help you moving it. So then you got to, I guess, do a cost benefit analysis and weigh it all out. But obviously, I think that model or those models are, there's a lot of money in there. And those are the things I'm always kind of going to bed thinking about, like, okay, what can we go to the next level? So I think that's the big goals we were talking about earlier, is having those big goals and then breaking it down. Well, what's that reverse planning? What's that going to look like on a monthly basis, and then a weekly basis, and then a daily basis, and then just making it happen. And by the way, I'll give Clay some props, because we do, or at least I do. I give him a hard time because he's just kind of free flowing, and I swear we went garage selling, and it's fun. We have a good time. We go garage selling. Come on, man, you can make some good money, and it's fun. And we did it for like 6 months, and I'd always ask him, "Did you get that VCR list? Did you get this list?" No. It's about 6 months later, I'm like, Clay, at this point, you're just a hoarder, dude. I can't go garage selling with you anymore until you get listings up, dude. You're turning into a hoarder. So can see you from going from there to, like, you're talking about cranking out 15 listings today and 15 listings yesterday. That's impressive, man. So
yeah, like tomorrow's stuff. Yeah,
it's good, man. Keep it
up. Get to my mini warehouse. Tiny apartment.
This is my life partner for the last 32 days when my wife comes home. So.
Hey, we don't judge who you love and what you do in your personal life, man.
I set that up for you.
You did. Hey, Queen Elizabeth, I heard some other stuff, so whatever.
Yeah, I think it's time for us to go. It's past her dinner and other things. I have a park across the street, so I take her, just literally walk across the street.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, yeah. Thanks again, Jason, for coming on.
Yeah, great.
We appreciate it. Brought a lot of knowledge, some motivation.
Yeah, for sure.
We appreciate it, man. And
I appreciate it. Yeah, we'll come back on sometime. It'll be fun.
All right, definitely, man. All right, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Jason.
Have a good one. Nice meeting you.
All right.
All
right, man. Right. He's killing it.
Right? He's Chris of Daily Refinement.
Yeah, definitely.
They're definitely there. Oh, you can see it now. You see the Grim Reaper.
Yeah, and then I bought these light bulbs just because they were cool. But the problem is the only place they fit in the apartment, because to me they're whatever normal size on the the part you screw in, the bigger. So all like a lamp and the ceiling fan has like the little skinny one. I would bought them thinking, oh, this could be cool in my bedroom. This lamp next to my bed. And then no, skinny little bottom. So I'm like, oh, I need to get some other cool lights, or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. Jason and Chris sound a lot alike. You're right.
Right? Yeah.
It kind of shows you, like, I mean, there's a common there, right? Their mindset, the way the process, the way they approach things. I mean, that's and not everybody has those goals to get to that level, but to improve, I think you need to set those goals and break it down onto into daily actionable items and make sure you can check those off at the end of the day.
Because early on, because he's great, but he's not like once we asked more questions. At first, though, I was like going, God, he's super intense. And for me, maybe because I'm tired, because I was up late listing, I was like going, it was like this. I'm like going, hold on, and like. Like shoot. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't, I was like sensory overload.
Here's the thing. I didn't know exactly. I mean, I know he has
so much good stuff in his head.
Yeah. And I know he was putting out sales. Those are just his eBay hobby kind of thing.
Right.
I had no idea that he was pushing that out on Amazon.
4 million a few years ago. Yeah.
Wow.
So that kind of shows you what's possible and how you can scale that up. Right. And he started just like all resellers started. Reselling is reselling. I think at its core, it's just how can you keep growing it? How can you keep taking it to the next level?
Yeah.
Him and Chris are right. I mean, anybody can go out to a yard sale, Goodwill, and find some items to make money, but not everybody can run it as a business. That's
good.
what you got to figure out.
Yeah, that's the hardest part is figuring out
what you want to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Like for me, one thing I keep putting off, and now thank goodness, and I would have it done yesterday if I'd had to, but like taxes, because like our school tax is easy. It's already taken out. You know, before I Ubered, 1 year I might owe 25. Another year I get back a little money. You know, so I just use my dad's friend he grew up with as my accountant. I admit, never done taxes because David always does it, and he doesn't charge me much because Dad, you know, his are still more complicated as a retired guy with more money. But like I know he'll be able to do the taxes easy, but I'm like, I got to get on the whole like, oh yeah, I need to create a system for what I'm selling, how I'm keeping track of it. Brian just does literally basically paper, and he's selling thousands of items a year, including like the jewelry. So it's like I bought some spreadsheets from this guy, Pro Solo Flipper. He's on YouTube, probably like, you know, give or take all of our ages. He's somewhere in Idaho, real nice guy.
Yeah.
And for $9, and I haven't looked at him but once, and you can modify him or whatever. But I'm like, oh, I need to get on that before I'm too far behind, because last year's taxes are easy. It's like I sold maybe 20 things. I can look at PayPal. You know, I can more or less remember if I didn't have it in a SKU. I'll be able to know, oh, that was my running shoes. It was a loss, so that's actually good for taxes. But this year, I've already sold like 70 things. So I'm like, oh, before I get effed, I need to like figure out. That's the thing I keep putting off, kind of. Actually, instead of listing, it's actually, oh, what is my system? Because some of these groups, and y'all can talk about this, one guy he had a question, and he's like, what are y'all's processes? Y'all using spreadsheets, programs to keep track of your list? And I was like, well, I was going to get this GoDaddy. People say it's great. It'll import past sales. You know, I don't know if there's a way to put in like how, you know, before it sells or anything. So I'm like, oh, do I need to every day be keeping a spreadsheet? I guess. Is that what you do, Matt, or what do you do?
No, like you talked about, it's all just, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good. Yeah.
Like you talked about, it's all just a system, and it's whatever system you choose, and definitely some are better than others. You know, well, you know, when you sell an item on eBay, you print the label out.
Yeah.
The bottom of the label has all the information.
Yeah.
What you sold it for, what the shipping was, what the item is. I just save those.
Okay.
If I sell something on Poshmark, Mercari, or say Amazon or somewhere, I just write it down in a notebook.
As you go, as it sells.
Yes.
So not necessarily. So, okay, that's what I guess I'm.
But don't do it like I do. That's not the correct way.
But it sounds like that would work. And Brian, isn't that more or less what you do? Yeah. I mean, as it sells.
I need to move up to GoDaddy. I maybe next year. Mine's so simple. This is part of my when I sell something. Like,
yeah, that's what I use, something like that.
But yeah, you're still doing it as it sells, though.
Because it's got what it is, the shipping. Well, let me see, the shipping, the date purchase, the website, how much I paid for it, what it sold for, in the profit. Because you're getting taxed on the profit. So that's
exactly what I do, just like that.
And I know that's very old school. It's funny. It's like I'm Clay's usually the old school one, and I'm hanging on to that. Like, no, I'm not gonna change. But I do.
And Matt, he uses one of those really thick carpenter's pencils and puts it behind his ears too. You know.
But definitely, if you can use a spreadsheet and let the spreadsheet do all the work for you, it's definitely gonna be easier.
I guess because in my head, for some reason, I've gotten into my head that I need to be doing it like as I buy or list things, but the whole thing is I just need to keep up with it as it sells. That's all because until then it's not income. It's just I've spent my personal money buying these pair of boots, whether I ever sell them or throw them in the trash.
Well, I mean, it's all business. Like Chris at Daily Refinement or Jason probably tell you, those boots you don't list, that could be counted as a loss if you donate them back.
Oh yeah. Okay.
You know.
Ah, okay.
That's something you purchased with your money, and
it
lost you money.
Because like I do Mile IQ to keep track of miles driving, you know. Like now, that's one thing I love about the storage unit besides peace of mind. But I'm like, it's only like a $2 drive, but driving to my storage unit, I get $2.
Well,
And if I
today,
go back and teach next year, at least I'll probably try to do this on purpose. Go by in the morning for some reason on the way to school, you know. So I'm like, I'll make $2 on the way to school. Some days I'll go home to pick up a package, you know. So I'm
something on eBay right now. Like so today I drove out to Burleson.
Yeah, how much you make on that, or
right
off?
And it was $37 round trip because it's coming. My garage, that's my inventory. It'd be like me taking it to a warehouse. So I decided to count the there and back. So that's $37 credit at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all that stuff adds up. So
yeah, and I mean, you can take off your Wi-Fi, cell phone, a lot of stuff.
Yeah, part of like I ran square footage on
your green light in the back.
Oh yeah. Once I pick a logo and I get a cool T-shirt, and I've already thought I'm going to send them out. So to all my friends, you know. So I'm like, I'll get. That is cool and scares me.
Man, this is one of the things I got. This is a big. There's 2 Grim Reapers I picked up.
That is creepy.
Is that creepy or what, dude? That's kind of wild.
God, I had a nightmare last night. I'd been asleep about 10 minutes and I woke up thinking I was going to go to hell. Like, that's going to help me tonight, you know?
Yeah, give Clay one of those.
Yeah.
Don't list 15.
I definitely need to watch some comedy when this is done to get that out of my head. I'm a big scaredy cat, Matt. I admit there's some rough childhood, and then I didn't like scary movies. So it's like, that's why I don't do scary movies.
Check this out.
Is that diecast or what?
Yeah, they call them friction. Like you.
Oh, the wheels. You pull it back.
Yeah, this is a Packard ambulance. These are pretty rare. Like now, the door's missing, or this one a lot.
Is it old school or
yeah? Old. It's like I think from the 40s or older.
They were not. This is going to make me put our parents down when they were little. But we're going. I didn't know that they had that pullback technology in the 40s. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. We had the atomic bomb and fire bombs.
Antique coffee grinder. These are going for like almost 200.
Wow.
Where'd you get that? Off of that auction site that we won't say?
Yeah, I've got dibs on that one spot. But yeah, I would look. Here's another Grim Reaper. This one is
all. Did you pick all that up today?
Yeah, and there's a lot more, man. And the biggest thing is this right here: medical equipment. It's a ResMed, like a BPAP machine. And I saw one similar to it that sold for 700 used.
Whoa. So, how much was that?
Well, they have different lots, right? That lot, I paid 30. And of course, I'll have to test it, make sure it powers on and everything. And I bought a Star Trek lot.
Yeah.
And you would think nothing, right? And so this is where I love researching. I saw that, and I know about collectibles, and I flip it over. You see that brand, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's a good brand on mugs. So I mean, I think this was worth 30, but I only paid $5. And there's books, there's trading cards, there's nude, dead stock, sealed VHS. I don't even know if that's worth anything, but I paid $5 for that lot, and the mug itself is worth about 30. So I don't know, man. I think that's kind of where I want to move. I want to move, keep doing a little bit of storage units, but estate sales, auctions.
Yeah, that's what you like. You're getting good at it.
Yeah, I love the research and the collect. I think I've been watching some Auction Professor and getting into that old collectible, vintage, antique stuff. It's kind of cool. Like, we got some comments here. The Thrifting Goomba.
Great, I know, right? It's a great name.
Great name. The percentage of square foot, internet, electricity, cell phone. Yep, that's all true. That's we were talking about this on Crocker Locker. Like, I upgraded my phone last year, and and I wrote off you can write off the percentage. Like on mine, it's probably 75% business, so I wrote off like 75% of that. So yeah, I'm obviously not a CPA, but
I'm already subscribed to Thrifting Goomba.
yeah, Mike, I'll
have to watch more then. Okay.
show you. Like I haven't even saw the picture. Let's see. So what is it? It says, it says VPAP Auto 25. And I just did a search when I saw it, and smaller ones were selling for hundreds of dollars, and it's got the bag with everything in it. I don't know much about it, but for $30.
Yeah, that's.
Wait, what do you say? Don't sell it on eBay. What's up with that, Mike?
What is the? I know you say I'm just tired right now. Auction. Who do you watch?
Auction Professor.
Auction Professor. Okay, I'm adding that to the to-do list. Auction. Yeah, I know Dr. Lori and Auction Professor. Okay.
Yeah, he has a lot of knowledge too.
Okay. Yeah, because haven't looked at that site except when we did one night here on the channel, or maybe afterwards, because I've got a death pile, so I don't have any reason to look at auctions or even marketplace or anything until this is all gone. If you find a storage unit, like I said, sure, I'd probably go in on that, or at least help clear it out. But otherwise, till this is gone. Yeah. Also, like you said, only be able to pick stuff up carefully, and safely, and not feel like a schmuck for being out picking up stuff when I have a paycheck, luckily.
Have you ever heard of the channel Renzi? R-N-Z-Y?
Yeah, I've only watched a little.
Yeah.
But they kill it on shoes.
Yeah, that's what I want to, once this is all over with, that's what I would just want to kind of model after them.
Brian and I
on a smaller scale.
Yeah.
I think it's possible.
I do too.
For me.
Yeah, even here, Brian and I had a discussion. We're like going, we could go together, every day, 7 days in a row. If we just hit Goodwills in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, 40 or something, plus the mom and pop.
Doing it right before this all
hit. And we did it together. We were going to start going, we were going to, like over spring break, go north from where I live, because some of the better good garage sales or garage sales we realize are north with just the fact better socioeconomic. So he'd start coming here, then I would drive us north or whatever, but we were going to hit all those Goodwills and just go, like there's this Highway 75, it goes like to Oklahoma and on, and if you just went like no more than 5 miles off of it, we could go up to Sherman, which is near the Oklahoma border where I went to college, and just boom, boom, boom. So it's like, even if we went together, we could still end up with like each Goodwill on average, no worse than 4 pairs of shoes. And we've done that. We'll go to the bins or Goodwills together and just we just get them all. And at the end, we just have a draft. We like flip a coin and we'll kind of like sort them. These are going to be worth X amount, this, and we'll just sit there and like load our car up each and go home.
Yeah, I think they sell an average 30 or 40 a day. Don't quote me on that, but 30 or 40 pairs of shoes a day.
Yeah, especially with the bins here or in Fort Worth.
And they do like an average price. If they go out and buy 100 pair of shoes, they just do an average. It's easier to keep up with for them.
See, now I'm finally listing, and about a month ago, I went back and added a SKU, and like to where I'm keeping it as I started organizing. But I'm like, oh crap, were these shoes from a Goodwill or the Goodwill bins? Because if they're Goodwill bins, I go with what Brian told me one time, like $4.50 give or take, or that's the pound. So that's what I've been putting is $4.50. And most of the Goodwills, I feel like they're about $7, Brian, unless they're like boots. And then I have a few that there's stickers on the bottom or something.
Like a dollar. The bins, $1.49 a pound.
Oh, $1.49. Oh, one time you said $4.50 or something. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't about that, but
pound. But if you take a pair of men's hiking boots, weigh 3 pounds, and that's where I got the $4.50.
Oh, I see. Oh, by the weight. Okay. Almost all my listings. So I'm just kind of going with $4.50 unless I specifically remember or have a sticker. Then I'll put the amount in my SKU. But that is an easy way. If you're out all one day, then it's, okay. I like that.
Out, man. I just watching the comments, I'm like, dang it.
Well, can you sell it on?
I might try to list it locally. I mean, I don't want to risk my account.
Because I'm kind of glancing. It's medical equipment.
Equipment, I guess, is the thing. I didn't know that. So
you'll make money with it wherever you sell it.
That does stink, though.
It does, man. Because I saw one sold for $700, and then you see people that get away with it, and you're like, but it's probably not worth risking your account.
No. Sorry, I'm replying to Francie here. Or I'll just tell her, Francie, I'm working on my death pile. I have a bunch of shoes that I conditioned today. Brian called me while he was driving. I was already doing it, and he was driving back from the auction, so I just sat there and conditioned all the leather ones. So those are all ready to be taken pictures. The top shelf, those are listed, but all the other shoes, it's hard to see, but they're all dark, like black and brown leather. But so I'm getting through the death pile slowly. I'm going to send pictures to Nikki. She might buy some of my clothes, so I'm getting there little by little, we got nothing but time. I mean, it's like the last couple of days, I knew I was going to talk to my niece and nephew, and mostly it was my niece Mason. And all we did was like the silly filters on Facebook or Instagram. Facebook Messenger. And I'm like, that's the best 30 minutes of the day. I was talking to her, or it was maybe an hour. So I'm like, okay, so that took an hour. But tomorrow I have literally all I have to do is take my car over to my cousin so she can do something she needs to. So, this weekend.
Are y'all enjoying being out of school? Enjoying the break?
Yeah, it's gotten real easy because we're not. Look, I always feel for elementary teachers more because they have to plan more. Brian and I teach. Well, he's kind of on a different schedule, but I do the same lesson 6 times, 45 minutes, 6 times. Brian was on a schedule. They kept block schedule, which they tried last year. It didn't work for history and science as well, but he did 3 classes, but an hour and a half or whatever, same thing more or less. But for language arts and history online, it's gotten real easy. And he was basically done teaching what he needed to for the almighty standardized test. Math was too, thankfully, but that'd be harder online. I think science is kind of a struggle, but elementary, my friends, they're struggling trying to teach little kids online or come up with lessons because they have to record themselves. I'm just finding good articles and trying to find videos that aren't restricted on these school Chromebooks, but
we were given the directive, and I think they're trying to balance it out as these parents and kids are stressed out. Some of these kids' parents have lost their jobs, and they,
a decent number, yeah.
So they're not trying to overwhelm them. So they've cut way back on even what they want us to give to them. So I'm like, okay, it's freed up a lot of time. A lot of time to resell. That's why I was telling Clay, this is a golden opportunity. We would be in school right now.
Yeah.
A couple hours a day. Now we can do this a lot.
Yeah. And my death pile my apartment would be worse and everything. Because over spring break, I would have been gone from Friday night until Monday. I teach Texas history. And for 40 years, there's Joe is his name. He's 72. He's taught at our school basically the whole time. He's led this trip to Austin and San Antonio to show the kids what the history is that we teach. And so now the last few years, because of stupid bureaucracy, we go right after school on Friday, and it's a fun trip. I've done it 9 times. It's the kids love it, mostly because they get to have their own room with their friends, no adult in there, and they like Six Flags. The history stuff is good enough, but I would have been gone and lost to working. and then come home. My birthday was that Tuesday, so I might have worked a little, but then I needed to Uber too because I hadn't done that in like 5 months. So I would have gotten some of this done. So I'm now, I admit, the first couple of weeks of this, I was stressed about how much do I give the kids to work on, and I bombarded them because I thought a lot of them would just click through this long PowerPoint. It still overwhelmed them getting this big ass. And I apologize a million times on Google Classroom. I had to learn how to do Google Classroom. I could show you now in like 5 minutes. I still screwed up something the other day. It was supposed to be a quiz. I didn't click something. So it just went up and there was no grade. So I had to put a comment and say, sorry for those of that did it. There's no grade for me. But now.
Hey, nice t-shirt, by the way. Go Mavs.
Yeah, Dirk.
Yeah, I like it.
Buy a lot of gear, but I do kind of like this color that they had last year on their whatever city uniform. But so for he and I, it's gotten easy. So, and I enjoyed having internet too. So now I'm getting more, trying to just baby steps, work a little harder. Because now that we know we're pretty much home and what we have this week, 6 weeks is 7 weeks. So even after this, we have 6 more weeks till our summer, which could be this, and that's fine. If I'm in, I'll just keep doing this, and then I guess I'll buy an auction or a storage unit, maybe on my own or he and I, and to keep getting stuff. But yeah, I'm trying to use the time, and I'm very glad I have a paycheck though.
Definitely.
And now, because I might go back next year, I'm over the stuff and the teaching the same lesson 6 times a day. But I might go back for 1 more year because I'll go into next year with 27 days off I can use. I used 17 this year, most for dad's doctor's appointments. But I'm like, next year I'll take some trips. I didn't take any this year. So I'll take a trip because we're all, but yeah. So I'm trying to just use it. Is your income like right now still pretty decent though because you're selling?
Yeah, it seems to me pretty much the same. Actually, I got more money because I'm not out buying stuff every day, if that makes sense.
So right now, you're even more plus. Okay, that's good. I ask because it's like
plus I'm not eating out and sourcing all the time. Yeah, going places. You can spend money.
Thank you. That is creepy. It's cool, but it's weird. It looks like what?
There's like skulls.
Oh yeah, and the globe. It looks
now
like
that might sell for $700.
I haven't really had time to check it out.
Send a picture to Laura. We have a friend who used to teach at our school, and she had a little jar on a shelf, and it said "student souls," and she wears black every day, and like. She would like that sort of thing. Like her bathroom, she hosted Christmas. Her hosting Christmas party, that'd be funny. Halloween party.
I might buy that from you.
Yeah, and that'd be perfect. But this looks like it'd be on a motorcycle to me. Whatever. That is creepy. Went to the post up. Let's see what people are saying. I'm behind on what y'all are saying. I've been selling every day, not big sell, but nice. And Francie, you're just part-time, right? Isn't she?
I think so. Yeah, she teaches too, I think.
Oh, okay.
Well, teachers too, you have your whole summer to resell. So it's a good, trade-off.
Yeah, it works well. Like you could honestly, that's kind of like I want to do this full time, but I want to be smart about it. So right now, I want to use this money to pay off debt to get in the position as the debt pays off, where it'll reach the point where it'll be easier to do. I don't want to get out there and then be stressed out and over my head. But yeah, it works really well with teaching. Like I used to coach. I used to coach just about every sport.
Yeah,
you get a stipend, and it adds up $4, $5, $6 a year. But that's nothing. Like I can go to a garage sale and hit $1,000 day on sales for garage sale on a Saturday. So I quit coaching last year to free up that time. What are the comments saying?
Sold my beautiful Kenwood stereo system. Oh yeah, I saw that on a shelf. Yeah. Oh, here. So Mike, here, Brian, show him your TV in the behind you. And Mike, I want to know if Mike, would you be willing to ship this giant old ass
the picture
TV
won't do it any justice.
that weighs like
it weighs 88 pounds, but it feels heavier than that. It's a
Mike, would you ship
DVD, VCR. This was a Facebook Marketplace free pickup.
Yeah.
All similar ones selling for like 75. One of them actually shipped on eBay. My gosh, I listed it on the local markets. Like I ship heavy stuff, but I do not want to try to ship that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could use that to test, VCRs, DVDs, all that type of things.
Yeah, and I put a DVD in here. Like, so when I was telling Clay like this, when I listed it, I tested it with the DVD and the VCR.
Poppins?
And with a picture, yeah, so they can see that it works.
Mike said, "Oh hell no, not over 20 inches." Okay. Yeah.
I mean, that thing would break, and the cost for that thing, you probably have to be afraid. I would imagine. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever shipped anything over like 50 pounds.
Yeah. Okay. Here. So Brian, so back in December, Matt, Brian and I did 2 storage units together, and he's bought what 2 more on your own, and I helped clear out one, not the one he did this week or last Friday, but on this second one we did, the first was like a couple of little things basically. The second was all these like track type suits, and so I have these Nike pants listed for I always do that $33. And what we're saying, they cost us like what, a quarter, maybe 50 cents each. They offered 18.
You got them for 30. Like for me, like mine is 60% of it. 60.
Okay, because I bumped it up from whatever Cellhound said.
Yeah, right. 20 or 21. They're real close to what I would do. I would probably counter them 21.
21. Okay.
But I mean.
Matt, do you send out offers, Matt? Do you
Yeah, and that's definitely one thing I've been doing now every day, as much as I can.
Yeah.
And it helps, and run sales in your store.
Maybe you said this last week, I just don't remember. What's your strategy on sales? Is it specific, store wide? How do you do it?
I do store wide usually.
And is it just like this week, or is it running all the time basically at 20%?
I think it's better to run one all the time for me. I mean,
So Kevin,
I switch up the numbers. Might be 10%. Couple days, 15.
Yeah,
25.
that's what Brian tiered each weekend.
Well, now I'm moved each week. I'm keeping it like the first week of the month is 10%, and 20% the second one, 30 and 40. Because I list high. I go high on the comps, take pretty good pictures. Do the research. And so that's where anything over half, 50, 60%, because most of my items I source real cheap. So that works for me.
That's what I try to do, list high and, put it out there for a little bit and see if somebody makes you an offer.
Yeah.
There he is.
The guy, I think the person that wants those sweatpants, it looks like they're a seller, so they're trying to buy from me to sell for more. Which
Kevin's trying to buy them from you.
It's weird seeing you. It's been a few weeks, man.
How you doing, Kevin?
Man. I've been laying low, just hanging out. Man. I've been so busy with just work and just getting just listing. Man,
That's good.
I guess, it's been I listened to a crap ton lately. I think since last time I talked to you guys, at least 50 stuff more.
Okay.
Because I only do like 6 to 8 listens a day, so just ramping up, and it's paying off.
Hey, you'll be proud of Clay. Tell him what you've been pushing out on listings this week, Clay.
I'm only at like 38 or something, but for me, that's a big number. But I also have a bunch of shoes ready to. It's hard to see them, but like conditioned and ready to go tomorrow, Kevin. So my goal is 15 a day for this week, and I'll hit it. I'm behind, but I'm trying to list.
You come back in.
That's like my 50. And I think I'm at.
Oh, this is nice.
I'm at 22, 27. I'm at 36, I think.
Okay.
36 what?
Well, we're just setting goals, weekly listing goals, and my goal is 50 this week, and I'm at 36 so far. So tomorrow I gotta get 14 up.
That's funny that I have of all times, you said 50 and I said I'm going to go even above that, whatever.
Yeah, you went from like no goal.
We'll go to whatever I get done in a week to let's do 15 a day.
All right, hey, Mike's got a question for you, Clay.
Yeah, I know. I think I said 38, but I might even be at 40.
No, how many total listings do you have?
Oh, total. Oh, let's see here. I'm at 259.
I got like 688.
259, 688. Let me see what I got. You're almost at 700, Kevin.
Mike has 894. What are you at, Matt?
I think I'm a little under 400. It was like 375, but it's down. I hadn't listed anything in probably 2 or 3 weeks.
What's the most you've ever gotten to? Have you gotten
this is probably the most I've had.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm always trying to figure out, like, I know it's quality, but like kind of like what is a number if you know what you're doing too and listen all the time. Yeah, to kind
I would say 1,000. I will say 1,000 is a good number.
Yeah, especially for full time. It seems like maybe
you're
on
your ASP too, right? Like,
well, that too, yeah.
You got 1,000 good items, then you're probably okay.
Yeah, but it's like we said, if you get there's stuff at storage and you paid like a quarter, even if I took an offer for $18 and I paid even 50 cents, that's what times 36 my money. So the sale price isn't great, but it's, I don't know. It's trying to figure out.
You probably make what, $14, $15?
Yeah. So, sure. Even after taxes, I'm like, okay, well, still 50 cents. Even if it's 8 or 9 for me right now with a paycheck, I'm trying to figure out and it's a storage unit. You got what you got. And part of the reason we bought it was what Brian saw, which was a bunch of that crap. Good crap. Crap meaning stuff, remember, for my vocabulary here.
Right.
I'm definitely still learning. I still think I'm a rookie.
Oh yeah.
Even though I've been selling full time a little over a year, I'm still learning.
Well, there's so much to learn. Like no one could ever learn everything. And, I mean, Kevin's the most knowledgeable one on here, obviously, but I'm sure he'd even.
Yeah, but I love learning new things. I love it. Like I'm on that whole glass kick right now, like China.
Yeah.
China. Yeah, I'm like on a whole glass kick.
Check this out. Not China, but this was in an auction I bought. It had a lot of Star Trek stuff.
Is it Star Wars? I mean Star Trek.
Star Trek, but yeah, look at the bottom.
Star Trek.
Yeah. It's going for 30. I bought the whole lot for $5, and it's got books and movies, even trading cards. So it'll be fun.
Right now in your garage?
Yeah, well, it's funny. Like Clay usually spends all his time organizing. I give him a hard time. I mean, you need to be listing. But yesterday, I took like 6 or 8 hours and just really organized the garage because my business was leaking into the house. I took over the study and I took over a room upstairs. And the missus wasn't too happy. I'm like, all right, today's a good day.
I totally get it, man. Like mine's littered everywhere in my house now. And it's getting crazy.
So now I got everything off the floor. I've got all my death piles on tables, and I've got rows set up. And that's why I was talking to Clay. I'm like, here in the not too distant future, it'll be time to get a storage unit. So
now, because now that you're out there needing room to list and work. Oh, so you're out of the front room too.
Yeah. Well, the table.
Oh, that's the table.
Yeah, like behind me.
Yeah.
That's not listing.
Yeah. I just realized though that was in the front room by the door.
Listing in the morning, then over here I got my bins over here, and these tables are where my death pile is, and then there's another table.
Looks good. Looks good.
Yeah, because he was spread out, not in a bad way, but he had a small front room by the front door and
it wasn't
upstairs.
like today, my listings, I had 16 orders go out, and the time it took to do it, because everything's in here now.
Yeah.
Over here, print the label, get the label, boom, boom. And it's like what on Daily Refinement I was talking about, streamlining that process to save me time on the shipping, which will give me more time to list or store. Or
whatever. Especially when you're on those Daily Refinement calls every day, man. You got this.
Man, those are good. Those are some good calls. And man, you missed. I wish you could have been on earlier, man.
Oh yeah,
I was going to, man. I had to concentrate driving, getting up here.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's way more important.
Yeah, that guy. He's doing what?
Who?
Jason.
Who is?
Our guest, Jason.
Jason who?
Clark. He's not on YouTube. Like I'm like, dude, you need to have a YouTube channel.
Well, it's good. Probably because he doesn't have enough time because he's too busy.
That's
why
it.
he's selling new fellas.
Yeah, that's what he said.
A little less of the YouTube, more of the selling.
Yeah, we had that talk, right?
That's what I'm doing. Have you seen? I haven't put out a video in like a month and a half or a month. I'm fine, man. I've just been, just posting my older videos on my IGTV. I don't know. I like it, and they just started monetizing videos today. Instagram did. So
how does that work?
I don't even know yet. I haven't even looked it up. I just saw that they're monetized and started today.
Do you got to have so many followers or so many views on a video?
Probably. I mean, I have 18. My goal is to be by 10, about 10,000 by the end of the year. And it's going fast. I'm getting like 30, 40 new followers a day.
Wow.
Well, I think what it is because I post at least one post in a day. And I'm not like, it's not like YouTube. I don't oversaturate. I do one post a day. That's it. And
yeah, I even get like 6 or 7, and I don't put anything up there. Just other resellers mostly. Yeah. I haven't even tried to add any of my friends or whatever because
I almost sold the hat. I almost had a customer on the hat, one of my hats that I've had for a while on my Instagram. He asked me how much he wanted it for. I said 35, and he never wrote back. That's really what happens, though. Yeah. But I'm firm with those sales because I'll sell it all day long on eBay. I don't care about selling it on Instagram. It's more of just showing off the stuff I find and the stuff I sell. I mean, I think Instagram's quickly becoming my main platform compared to YouTube. I think it's going to be mostly Instagram. I don't know if I'll do much YouTube. They might doing like if I did interviews, like 15-minute quick interviews on Instagram or IGTV. I think that'd be pretty fun.
Yeah,
There's a lot of things over there that nobody's doing.
Yeah, I watched this guy that I found on this show, The Mayans. This actor that I follow on Instagram, and so I watched him for about 15 minutes or listened as I listed last night. Just him talking to another guy he knows about like their prison experience, whatever. And it was just interesting because we teach kids, so a lot of kids whose family and stuff, and it's just cool watching. I was like, oh, Instagram TV, like so I could see how that would be a thing for a lot of people, And it was like this. He just live streamed while they talked for I don't know, went on probably for an hour. I kind of got tired of it after a while because I was trying to list and do it all on my phone, instead of streaming on my computer, God forbid, using my brain.
I think Instagram has a lot of new features coming out. Really?
Certain resellers.
Well, I'm a beta tester since I have a Google phone. Mm-hmm. So like with my IGTV, if you have like an Apple phone, you can't do certain things because you can't beta test it. But that's a huge advantage that I have because I'm an Instagram beta tester. And anybody that has Android can be too. And that gives you some stuff, some access to different features that they've dropped that people with iPhones don't have. One, for instance, is you can have dark mode now on Instagram. And another one is so like when I do my IGTV videos and I pop them, I can actually do a Facebook story, like an Instagram story, right? Too, and promote it and be like, I think like I did one today on mine. It basically said, swipe up because there's a link section that all you gotta do is swipe up and it starts my video. You know, so that's only a feature a beta tester can use too, which is huge.
That is cool. Yeah, it's worth a shot, especially since it's a whole different type deal of shorter, generally, like not as short as a TikTok, but yeah, it's closer to that than. Oh, he didn't like my comment.
No, I'm here.
Yeah,
I'm just picking my nose.
I was about to say that. Jokingly, going, he's picking his nose. Yeah, you can't. Muting won't help that. Yeah, you'll still get busted on that.
Yeah, I think that's how I met Kevin on Instagram. I believe. I'm not sure. I think I met you on Instagram. I don't know if I met you through Instagram or YouTube.
I saw you on the video. You were going full time, and then I Instagram chatted you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Friends and
a lot of cool people on there. Friends,
Yeah, I think Instagram's a better platform than YouTube is by far, because I just like the fact that all you gotta do is post a picture, and then now you have feature video. And like I said, there's not much competition out there. So if you can hit a few keywords, and I guess the way it works for YouTube, say you have, you pull out a video, like mine are like 10 to 15 minutes long because I'm just reposting stuff. But normally if you keep it like 5 to 10 minutes, max is 15 if you do IGTV. So if you do that, the longer, it's kind of like YouTube. So there's like a certain percentage where you'll get more traction. So like if somebody watched, if I have an average 5% to 10%, or I would say 5 to 7, I think they said, you're not gonna have many views, because that's where I'm at right now. But if you have like somebody that watched, if you're like an average time watched on your videos on IGTV is like 10 to 15, you're gonna get like 10,000 views, 10 to 25,000 views. And if you have like 50 or like 20, because I was watching this one kid who does it, who's like uber famous on Instagram, and he said that if it's like the average on his videos is like people watch is like 23 minutes. 23% of his videos. So 23% of his video people has watched on average, which is I guess amazing. And like he get average of like 500,000-600,000 views. So he's like, as long as you can get like a percentage people watching your videos, the longer, like say like 10 to 15, you'll get like 1,000, couple thousand views. That's the point of it. The longer you can get people to watch the video, the more Instagram's going to put you higher up in like the hashtag rankings and really promote your videos. So
maybe that's where I'm sitting there thinking I might try that for this, but I have some videos from my old channel, this character Larry that I did that Brian likes because he's unstable and creepy with I've painted my face and all this. That might work really good on Instagram, actually.
It can't hurt to try.
Right?
We can try anything, man.
Well, Brian said I should come on as Larry one night here, whatever. I might. I got to learn to do the makeup first myself. The lady did it for me. It was like the Day of the Dead mask type looking, with like the black eyes. And I had this.
I don't think you even need the mask or the paint or whatever, because I think you already are that dude.
Oh, thank you, Larry. Yeah. I need to post, maybe on my YouTube, on the reseller, I'll post the Larry reads the Peter Rabbit book or whatever,
Dude, don't do anything to confuse viewers, because then you're going to start losing them.
I know.
And they get confused very quickly.
I know. That's why I haven't done it, because I know they'd be like, what is this? Just having
and
fun?
then all of a sudden, no joke, you'll start seeing the unsubscribe.
That's okay. I'm only at 10. I don't know. 110. As I told Brian, hey, I got 3 dislikes on a video recently. I'm like good. I know. My cousin is like, 3. I was like, I know. And I text Brian, I'm like, what the fuck?
That was us 3.
Yeah, that's good. I should click the leave studio button right now, or all of y'all should have. And I'm just sitting here going,
one of my videos has 300 likes and 80 dislikes.
Like my cousin said, why would you hit that? Like, to me, that I don't know. It's kind of like my rule, and y'all can disagree. well, this year, if they play baseball, I will boo the Houston Astros. Every game, the whole game, nonstop. I'm going to hydrate like I'm running a marathon, but that's because they're sorry cheaters. But like, I wouldn't boo my own players ever at a game. That's just not. Sorry, they're not producing for you since you're so great.
I would.
To me. That's just
I'm
my
from Boston. Dude,
I'm like,
I'm from
why
Boston.
why would I click dislike?
You
know, it's that same idea to me. I'm not going to boo. I'm not going to click dislike. I'll just stop watching the video. But I don't know. That's just to me trying. That's
but
creating a negative energy that I do enough for myself. So
for me, there's only certain ways that I can get I can dislike on. I dislike other people's videos, and I don't care if they're my friends or not.
Yeah.
If I feel like the content's not up to to what I think it should be, like I think I sent you guys it's one like yesterday.
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
don't say it, but that one.
That's a hot sports opinion. Yeah,
that one, and remember, I interviewed the dude. So
I know. I texted that to Brian, and I said he just had it. Yeah, I was like, that's we both laughed. Yeah,
but that's just me. That's like I hold.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I don't like that amateurish. Listen, I'm gonna do a video because I need to put a video out. No, man. If you have to, wait 3 days, wait 4 days, wait 7 days, wait 2 weeks. It'll be like me. Wait a month and a half because when I put a product out, I want to make sure it's good, and I don't have time right now to put up a good product out because I have so much videos.
Yeah.
And the one we're trying to get done just keeps working. We're not wasting our time because it's not working for some reason on her Apple. It's not working too well. It's skipping. So then today I realized, oh yeah, it's in the cloud. We can just go use it on my phone.
Yeah.
Not my phone. We could use it on the phone.
Yeah.
But also we can edit it on my computer too because it's Adobe. So I can be editing on. She can edit on hers like she's doing on Apple, but it's stalling, not like it's glitching. So it's always going to be in the cloud. So I can go on my computer with the same Adobe login and then boom, pull it right up and work it on my computer. That's what's so awesome about Adobe.
Okay.
But no, man, I definitely gave that person a dislike because I hold you to a bigger standard, man. And if I feel like you're doing videos just to do videos, I don't care who you are. I will dislike your video and I will like you. It's nothing against you.
Yeah.
It's just I hold you to a better standard, man. Don't make stupid videos where you're just trying to put a video out so people can watch, especially a subject where nobody's going to search for that.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. Who are you catering to?
Yeah, that's like when the people dislike mine, I'm like going, Brian said, it could be because it's all one take. I don't have any I don't pop up anything.
You're doing a what sold, but like it was on TV.
I know it was.
I would say either do it like you talking and then pop in, edit in a picture of the West Side, or it's mostly on the computer.
I know, but see, I don't know how to do any of that yet. That's so far down my list when I realize I need to be doing something to make money versus YouTube probably ain't going to make me money as a reseller.
Yeah, exactly.
Not to be negative. My character, Larry, I really think, or a self-help channel. I think Larry is actually, if I'm going to make money, it's going to be as a wacky stuff. I'm doing the YouTube kind of because I know you guys and I'm trying to, help you learn to edit.
There's nothing wrong, dude. There's nothing wrong with coming on here and shooting the shit like 1 day a week, man. Honestly,
and like Francie said, for me, I'm just doing literally watch one of my videos, Francie. It's me talking, and there's no special effects. There's nothing. It's literally one take. Mike does that. Mike just has a good intro.
Me personally, I like the ones with the cutscene. Like that's why my stuff's edited heavily. Yeah, I just like it. It's like an art form itself.
Yeah.
I think it's better quality than what I was doing. But
when I started watching like Rally Roots, he has, or other people. It's like, even Matt has good I just need to learn the basic of how do I get this and this stitched together, whatever.
Yeah.
But I haven't bothered yet. That's like I said, I got to get this place, kill the death pile, organize the apartment, the storage unit. And then if I have nothing to list, then I can get the laptop and be like, oh, now I can learn to edit. I learned Google Classroom, which seemed brutal.
I'm telling you guys, cut down the YouTube crap time.
Oh, I don't.
It's a time warp and a time suck. And I understand some people love it. And some people, this isn't their full. They don't want it to be their full-time gig. eBay. But for me, and I know for Clay and for Brian and I know Poshman over here, we're all trying to make this full-time. So we're not going to make full-time. If you saw me as many times if you saw me on Hangouts a couple weeks ago or even a couple months ago, you're not going to see me do that much. The only ones I really like are the ones I like doing private, or the ones that I'll buy. You know, like I just did the one with Daily Refinement. I haven't even edited that video yet. We've just been too busy. You know, and then I'm supposed to, I keep forgetting, I'm supposed to schedule time in to do his interview because he asked me yesterday, he's like, are we going to schedule this? So I need to schedule that because that's a huge opportunity for me. But I think I'm just going to start promoting more my Instagram and my IGTV stuff. You know, I mean, the first one I did had 190 views. And it's got me a bunch of followers. So, I mean, it's just like YouTube. You're building your followers. You're going to build more views. The more I always say consistently do it. So, like, if you have a set time, and this is what the bigwigs say also, on your banner, right, the days a week you're going to drop live videos. So they're new videos. People can look forward to them. Like Brian, say you drop videos on Monday, Wednesday, Saturdays. On your banner, right, new video, new content coming every Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. You know what I mean? Because then, this is his channel, and he's consistently dropping them every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Plus, that gives you a little more time to prep it ahead of time too. You know, but you don't have to do 3 days a week. You don't have to do 2 days a week. Right now, it's hard for me to do 1 day a week. But you have people out here doing 4, 5, 6, 7 videos a week, and it's like, dude, just think of half the time you would spend doing eBay over doing that time, or even relaxing with your other significant other. Like I've been enjoying just watching TV shows and watching other type of YouTube videos that have nothing to do with reselling, because you can burn yourself out if you watch this stuff too much.
Yeah,
you know?
Since we had that talk, I've cut way down. Like I do a weekly what sold. I was going to do some garage sales, but can't do that. And so we do our live hanging out. And then listing more, you know, sourcing more, researching.
You can even vlog. That could be one step up for us. You know, we can even vlog every day now that we're at this sickness. Dude, hey, what's going on? This is Kevin or Kevin from the Thrifting Lounge, dude. Like, this is what I sold today. This is how I feel today. It's like a journal. I think that's what I'm going to start doing too. You know, just journaling it. Like everyone can make a what sold. For me, I like the what sold because it's kind of like a vlog for myself. Like, man, I'm proud of the stuff I sold. But if you can mix your everyday life a little bit with you reselling and just make a mixture, like a 5-minute daily video of like what's going on that day, and make like, you know, I'd watch that.
Yeah, the personality. That's why I like Rally Roots, because like they'll do what's sold, they'll show the ranch, like they're just nice people, or what Tesla picker is that something? I've gotten into watching him some because like his kids will pop on, and you know he'll talk about these cool socks that you can send him pictures, and he makes socks, and he'll talk about whoever it is, and that's why I've thought about doing like the self-help, like the vlog or whatever, you know. And I have videos in my phone that I filmed. I just need to I'm kind of waiting till I learn to edit some or whatever, and like that might be as good for me to do that or whatever. Because heck, Brian and I will start talking like today about when he called me about this crap, and then we ended up talking about life and why, you know, organizing the house or the garage is good for him, but it's better for the family, you know. So it's like, yeah.
All right, guys. Hey, I'm pretty pooped. I got up early, so I think I'm.
Yeah, I did too. I still got to work. I'm at my girlfriend's parents' house, and I brought my whole computer up so I can work from here tomorrow. I was gonna call out sick. And I'm like,
save the day.
Hold over well. I don't think it's gonna hold over well. And today I had a great day at work. So
that's good.
I need to hit my goal of 21. I'm at 15 right now. So
yeah, keep the momentum then.
Keep it going, man. Thanks for dropping by, Kevin.
Anytime.
All right,
we're only at 3:38 tonight, Brian. Gosh darn it. I can't believe we went this long again.
Yeah.
We went from a 2-hour show to now we're bumping up against 4 because there's no work tomorrow.
3 hours is a good time, maybe.
Yeah, but there's no work tomorrow.
Who else was on tonight?
Man, we had a Green Room University
The
guy,
guy Jason Clark.
and he's doing multi-million. Jason Clark.
He's not like Brian was saying earlier.
YouTube channel. He's too busy selling. He does multi-million on Amazon, and he posted a post in the Green Room University, like an eBay challenge, and his wife is gone. She's in Canada, and he's just got this pile of eBay items, and he just challenged everybody to see what they could do. It's just, and I read the post and it was real motivating, I thought. And he came on, and he's kind of like Chris, really smart guy, kind of talked about his process. He does store buyouts now, and he told a story how he started, with garage sales and just kind of worked his way up. So yeah, if you got some time, maybe go check out the first 30 minutes later.
Yeah.
And then we had Jay Flippin' Sloth, the guy from England, that comments. Yeah. He stayed up late. Yeah, he came on. He doesn't have a mic or whatever. I mean, he has a mic, but not a webcam. But he came on, and he was good too, and he stayed up. We started at 1 a.m. his time, and he was with us till 3:30 his time.
Yeah, but he's always on anyways. Watching you guys.
But it was cool having him on, and he had some good stuff too. Just and since he's followed us from like day one and commented, it was nice having him on.
Yeah, I think I followed you guys close to day one too.
Yeah.
Eclectic flip. What was it?
Eclectic Elephant. Yeah.
Oh, Eclectic Elephant.
That was only my second name on here. Yeah, Matt. I started as
a good name.
Huh?
That is a good name.
It was a great. Yeah, Matt. Don't you think Eclectic?
Why did you change it, Clay?
Yeah. Well, here's why I changed it, Matt. I started with Yoga Runner because I'm the runner. My cousin.
That's a horrible reseller name.
I know, but I didn't know what else to come up with, at the time. So I was like, I can always change it. I made videos, never posted them. And then I was like, in class one day, I said something like the word excellent. And then I was like, excellent elephant. And I'm like, hold on. I got to go to my desk and write this down, And thank you. The scary guy just make me sleep. Yeah. And so then I was like, eclectic, because what I sell is very eclectic. And then to be fancy, I was like, I'll spell elephant with an F to be different. Well, when you're in a chat, and especially if you're on your phone, you can't read the letters. And so everybody, like in one chat, I corrected people nicely. And someone was like, I'm going to leave the chat. I'm upset. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I was just trying to say it phonetically. And yeah, eclectic elephant. So I finally was like, just whatever, fine. No. So I bandied a few other names, and they've stopped giving me. Yeah, they've stopped giving me crap for the most part. For a few weeks, they were like, when are you going to change again? Now I'm like, Clay's Closet. A closet can mean storage or whatever.
Dude, you're trying to say the name every day.
Yeah, they liked it. Clay's Cool Closet. Oh, that would have been good too. But nope, can't do it. Nope. Clay's Closet.
I was going to say something else, but I'm not going to say it.
So
before we go off, I appreciate Kevin, appreciate all you guys, for being genuine. I remember the first time I seen Kevin on a live stream, just how genuine he was, and how real he was. He said some things on there about how he changed his life, just wanted to be happy, and that was big. And you guys are just genuine.
Yeah, I'm very happy.
Real quick, Matt. And you don't have to say numbers, but did you in this first year of reselling make as much as you did at the factory, or close?
Yeah, I didn't make much.
Okay, but you're growing.
I just had a sale just then when you said that.
I heard that. Yeah, you heard that.
But you're growing there.
I had 2 since we've been on. Yeah, I'm trying to grow. I'm learning,
And you're getting there, but you're happier, happier.
I want to streamline it. Yes, I'm happy. Yeah.
Okay,
I'm doing what I love to do. I have freedom.
Yeah, and if you and the family, if it works for now, you have a place you can go back to, even if it sucks. Like, you have a skill.
That's why I'm trying to do this, these side hustles. So in case things get slow,
right?
it can,
Yeah.
even out.
That's why I've been doing
I
Uber.
might start teaching online if you two guys will teach me.
I've thought about doing that next year instead of going back to the classroom.
You should go to Japan, Clay. You can teach over there. Man, you can.
No, I was just joking.
Imagine
Teach me English. Clay's been making fun of my accent.
I love your accent.
Heard it, we have Matt, and we love your accent, but we also had our UK Jay guy.
Yeah, Jay, it was great. His accent.
Have you heard Rev Resales? Have you heard him?
Yeah, I saw Rev Resell on Victoria's live show the other day or whatever.
I know Brian's wanting to get off of here and go to bed, so I'll quit talking.
Yeah.
But I appreciate all of you guys, really.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you guys for having me on for a little bit.
Kool-Aid Closet.
Stopping by. Have a good night. Crush it tomorrow. Set those goals. Set those daily goals and crush it.
There you go.
.com.
Later, guys.
ClaysCloset.com.
There's your new name.